CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hello, good morning. It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, July the 7th. We're looking at a mainly sunny day. A few clouds, though, kicking around, and still some wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. It's 15 degrees right now. Let's get to the news. Here is Lisa Best.
Thanks, Ryan, and good morning. There's a new wildfire burning on Vancouver Island, and this one is a bit worrisome. It's considered burning out of control at this point, and it is believed to be human-caused. It's about 2 hectares in size, situated northwest of Mount Prevost, north of Duncan. The BC Wildfire Service has 3 initial attack crews, 2 water tenders, 2 helicopters, and additional tanker support are battling this one. Province-wide, there's 20 fires burning, 5 new in the past 24 hours. 5 are considered out of control, including the one here on the island. Police in Saanich trying to track down whoever stole $10,000 worth of jewelry from a home in that community. The theft believed to have occurred at some point between June 9th and 28th at a residence in the 4300 block of Maltwood Lane. The stolen pieces include 3 necklaces, 3 rings, and 2 bracelets. The BC government says it's exploring legal options related to the mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, where 10 people died in February. Attorney General Nikki Sharma is holding a media conference today, but the province didn't provide details about the specific legal options into looking into it. Public Safety Minister Nina Krieger said back in May that the police investigation into the shooting was in its final stages, and a coroner's inquest has been called. The shooting in February left 9 people, including the shooter, dead, so that's 10, who used ChatGPT before the shooting, and ChatGPT now the subject of multiple lawsuits. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Turkey today, where he's set for a stream of meetings with heads of allied nations.
Carney is expected to hold talks with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and with the leaders of South Korea, Germany, and Norway. That comes on the heels of a major unveiling in Halifax. The German-based submaker TKMS will be the preferred bidder for a fleet of new submarines for the Navy, not South Korea's Hanwha. Countries are expected to announce tens of billions of dollars in military spending around the margins of the summit. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the alliance is angling now to purchase a fleet of Saab Global I jets that are largely manufactured in Canada. Kyle Duggan, The Canadian Press, Ankara.
And Waters closer to home, corresponding news conference in CFB Esquimalt yesterday. 3 of the 4 current subs are based here of the dozen announced for purchase. Rear Admiral David Patchell, commander of the Maritime Forces Pacific and Joint Task Force Pacific, outlined how things are about to change for Greater Victoria as part of this dozen sub purchase.
There are about 6,500 defense team members that work here in British Columbia, public servants and military members, and we'll grow that to about 9,500, including the new civilian workers that we need to maintain and repair our ships. So that's just on the people side, so a significant investment, and that entire training pipeline for our military members. Along with that, new jetties, new ammunition jetty, new housing, new accommodation blocks, new train facilities. So all of that. And we have the footprint we need to build that and a really detailed plan to get there.
The whole project expected to cost $100 million. The new jetty will be built in Colwood, so big changes on the way here. It's getting easier, apparently, to recruit a doctor in this province. Bylaw changes for the College of Physicians and Surgeons of BC have taken effect. The changes are designed to allow for more internationally trained physicians to apply directly for a full license to practice here, rather than having to first work under a provisional license. Doctors trained in Australia, Hong Kong, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa, Switzerland, and the UK will all be considered. The Ministry of Health says the college is also expanding the BC Physician Integration Program requirement to include internationally trained physicians who are new to independent practice in Canada, including those entering through a new full license pathway. Physicians can complete the program at no cost during their first year here through the UBC's Continuing Professional Development Department. A Canadian comedy is putting the Olympic sport of race walking in the spotlight. Richmond's Evan Dunphy, an Olympic bronze medalist and reigning world champion, coached the cast of Race Walkers, which opens in theaters on Friday. Dunphy says he was fully on board to help when the filmmakers approached him for consultation.
I mean, it was so cool.
Yeah. The film follows a former baseball pitcher who discovers he has perfect walking form, enough to chase an Olympic spot. And that's your news to 6:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking if you've lost interest in the World Cup or switched teams after Canada's loss to Morocco on the weekend. 55% say they've totally lost interest. 45% are cheering for another team, another bandwagon, and another jersey to wear. You can vote now at cfax1070.com or in the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Sebastian, News Time 6:06.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday. It's mostly sunny today, with a few clouds, though, a little windy off the water, a little unsettled, but still quite warm. We got a Humidex at 26, so still feeling a little muggy, kind of like yesterday, although yesterday wasn't so bad.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It was muggy in the right way, if that's a thing.
Not getting mugged. It's just the humidity.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get the full forecast your way in a moment, but yeah, fairly pleasant today, just a little bit on the unsettled side if you're by the water. Well, let's kick things off here as we get into our sports with our World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. All three World Cup co-hosts are out as the United States joined Mexico and Canada eliminated in the round of 16. Belgium blew out the U.S. 4-1 on Monday, scoring just 9 minutes into the game. And after the U.S. tied it, Belgium scored just a minute later to grab the lead again.
Trossard. Oh, that could be a tempting ball in. It's De Ketelaere.
Charles De Ketelaere had both the goals, and Belgium added 2 more in the second half for the easy victory. Earlier, Spain advanced when substitute Mikel Merino scored in the 90th minute for a 1-0 win over Portugal. The loss marked the end of Cristiano Ronaldo's international career after a record-tying 6 World Cups. Spain will play Belgium on Friday for a spot in the semi-final. Today, 2 final round of 16 matches. Argentina will take on Egypt, and then at 4 p.m. Eastern, the final game to be played at Vancouver Stadium as Colombia meets Switzerland. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
Well, there you go. And real quick, just to look at a local thing. Victoria Harbour Cats are going to begin a series against the Bend Elks tonight, hosting the Elks at Wilson's Group Stadium, Royal Athletic Park. So that kicks off a 3-game series. And the Toronto Blue Jays have lost 3 in a row now, been outscored 25-1 and out-hit 25-7 over this latest skid. So they'll look to right the ship when they play the middle set of a 3-game series against the host San Francisco Giants coming up tonight. That is your CFAX 1070 Sports to 6:09.
The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
It's 10 minutes after 6. You've got the CFAX morning show here, and we're taking a look at traffic and weather. Fairly easygoing right now, but there have been overnight road closures right where the Keating Road flyover kind of ends and just approaches Central Saanich Road. That overnight closure is on right now. And we're actually going to talk about that a little bit. We've got somebody on just into our 7 o'clock hour from the Ministry of Transportation who will be speaking about what's going on there. And just overall that project. We've had the Keating flyover open for some time, but it remains a construction zone. Let's check in with that coming up in about an hour's time. We'll do that. But right now, that overnight closure is still in effect. But otherwise, we're looking pretty good. No crashes, no other problems. Text me at 71010 if you see something causing trouble out there. For BC Ferries, 7 o'clock sailing has no trouble, no sailing waits, and lots of room left from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And for the weather forecast, mainly sunny today, although we will have cloudy periods. And we still have those breezes off the water. We've seen them kind of on and off, but gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour, still blowing into the afternoon off the Juan de Fuca Strait. Highs will be 24, a humidex of 26, so feeling quite muggy, but feeling like 16 if you're by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait. So we're definitely going to be one of those Victoria days where the temperatures are really going to vary depending on where you find yourself. For the rest of the week, it is going to be kind of the same, maybe not quite as windy, but we will see sunshine with a few clouds through the rest of the week and temperatures into the low to mid-20s right throughout. Overnight lows down to anywhere between 11 and 13 degrees and mostly clear for the next few days as well. Right now at the Victoria International Airport, where the official temperature is kept, it is 14 degrees. CFAX Money Matters. Opening bells for North American stock markets will ring later this hour, so let's take a look at how things closed off yesterday with Aaron Sousa.
Canada's main stock index ended lower yesterday. Toronto's S&P TSX was down 62 points to 35,212. Wall Street saw gains as the Dow rose 155 points. The Nasdaq climbed 288. In Tokyo, the Nikkei fell 1,400 points. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong lost 119. Our dollar is trading at 70 and 34 cents U.S. Prime Minister Mark Carney has arrived in Turkey for the NATO summit. He's today set to meet with officials from Ukraine, South Korea, Germany, and Norway. Summit talks expected to center on boosting defense budgets and alliance unity. A new survey finds nearly half of Canadian manufacturers are considering moving production to the U.S. The finding from KPMG comes amid trade tensions, one expert saying many are making long-term investment decisions and not waiting to see what happens with the U.S. trade situation. And Rogers is buying out the remainder of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Experts say the move signals a shift away from free-to-air sports broadcasting. From the Canadian Press Business Desk, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us as we get into this Tuesday in Victoria or Vancouver Island or BC or wherever you happen to be watching and listening and taking us in this morning. Lisa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you, Ryan.
Great to have you here.
Feeling the mugginess.
Yes. It was. I love a good bit of humidity. I'm okay with it. I don't mind. I know that.
I don't know. You're talking about it a lot.
Yeah?
And sometimes that means you do.
Well, it's just there. It's noticeable. I feel like it's a good factor because, the dry heat versus, humid heat is, it makes a difference in how you got to, prepare for the day. Add some mugginess and all of a sudden it's a lot warmer of a day.
You ever been to New Orleans in August?
No, but I'm sure.
We'll send you there, then you'll come back here and go, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. It's like being in a bathtub.
Yeah. Well, I had the exact opposite experience this winter, and I think we talked about it on the show where I traveled to the prairies for some of the winter, and I got to experience the dry cold. And it was like minus...
Tell us where you went.
It was Saskatoon.
Thank you.
It was minus 28 in March, but it didn't feel that bad. Like, I'd walk outside. The longer you were in it, you definitely started to feel the bite more than you would here.
Yeah, because it gets into your bones.
So there's that. But... It was that.
That's the part that kills you, Ryan.
Apart from the really serious part.
I spent 25 years in Winnipeg.
But it was remarkable how different it felt. You'd go outside at 0 degrees in Victoria, and it wouldn't feel that different from minus 28, at least initially.
But you're absolutely right about that. And on the other end of that spectrum, the other end of the mercury, the heat hits differently here too. 25 here feels a lot hotter than like 30 on the prairies.
Yeah, exactly. When it's dry, the dryness really matters. So I guess that's why we've got that humidex. That's why
Well,
it's there.
that's everywhere, but
Yeah.
we certainly do feel it, and we feel it in the winter as well. Montreal is the same.
Yeah.
That cold, wet cold, goes right into you.
Yeah, it's going to be.
So you're going to move to Saskatoon anytime soon?
You know,
Yeah.
I love to visit. I got family there. I love to visit.
It's a pretty town.
Text-
It's really nice in the summer.
Texter at 71010 says, just don't work outside. That's a
Well,
good tip.
Yeah.
If you don't
Anybody in
like it.
construction, their ears just perked up. What?
Yeah. I can't complain in my air-conditioned radio studio
Exactly.
right here.
We're hermetically sealed in here, and nothing affects us. The temperature's always, 23? The
Unless
sun's
it's going
always shining.
haywire, which happens frequently.
Yeah,
and then
sometimes it's a bit of a meat locker. That's true.
you end up
But
with an
there's
air
no
conditioning
humidity.
blowing on you. Yeah.
No humidity.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah. 616, what's going on, Lisa?
More on that C2 Sky Highway crash that happened on Sunday and locked down traffic for hours. A motorcyclist was killed in that collision, allegedly driving away from an attempted traffic stop. RCMP said the collision happened Sunday afternoon around 5:30 between Squamish and Lions Bay. Officers noticed two speeding motorcycles driving erratically. The Independent Investigations Office is involved because officers attempted to make a traffic stop. The bikes did not stop. One ended up hitting an RV. The rider died at the scene. The highway closed for more than 8 hours. A lot of people stuck in gridlock on that on a busy weekend. A woman missing at a provincial park mid-island is believed to have drowned after reportedly being swept away by strong currents in a river. Port Alberni RCMP say they were called to the Stamp River Provincial Park on Sunday. The swimmer reported missing. Searchers so far have not been able to locate the woman. Crews on scene again yesterday searching. Parts of the park were closed to accommodate for the search effort. The BC Chiefs Corner says a pay boost for field corners that went into effect last month was long overdue. Dr. Jatwinder Badwan says it took a while to get the raise through because it required an order in council to change the regulations. And then the first raise of on-call corners has been received since 2016, so the first in 10 years. Badwan says field corner work varies widely between rural and urban areas, and some people don't last long on the job once they find out what it all entails. He says he hopes that a post-secondary course of some kind can be offered in the future to better prepare people for the job, as the service looks to hire people in several BC communities this year. That is your news to 618.
Thank you, Lisa. Lots going on in the news, including locally. People might be wondering what's been happening with the Pat Bay Highway. It's open as far as we know this morning after all of that closure yesterday. There was quite the collision on the Pat Bay, kind of just north of Quadra, south of Royal Oak.
Yeah, around 5:30 last night.
Yeah, and it closed things for quite a while. Things are moving this morning. But yeah, that's something that we're kind of watching. We've got a fire burning on Vancouver Island that's caught our attention. So let's talk about some of the things going on in just a moment. But we'll check our current traffic and weather. Yeah, Pat Bay Highway's moving. Is there anything else causing trouble? Text me at 71010. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. The time is 6:20. Nothing much happening on the roads right now. Yeah, that Pat Bay Highway thing that was happening for a few hours yesterday evening is cleared up this morning, so that's not a thing facing you as you get into the day. The Keating flyover closure, not the flyover itself, it's actually a little past that. It's just as you kind of get off the flyover and hit where it kind of meets Central Saanich Road. That's where we have a closure still in effect right now. Watch out for that. And for BC Ferries, no sailing waits. For the weather, it's going to be fairly pleasant today, but a bit windy, making it one of those days where you don't really know what to expect depending on where you go. Mostly, it's going to be a mainly sunny day, few clouds, highs of 24, humidex of 26, making it feel a little warmer. But by the Juan de Fuca Strait, if you're kind of more exposed to that side of the capital region, wind gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour and temperatures feeling more like 16. So very different days depending on where you are around Greater Victoria. Tonight, few clouds. Lows to 13. Tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud. Highs of 24 again. Cooler again by the water. And the rest of the week kind of looks the same. Right up until the weekend. Right now for the temperatures, if you are in downtown Victoria, 13 degrees is what we're seeing. In Langford, it is 12.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Lots going on. Yeah, that Pat Bay Highway crash, I wish we could tell you more. We're still waiting on some more information, but we know it's over. The traffic is flowing, but that was the thing facing commuters last night. I do know from social media pictures, people kind of driving by it, because it closed northbound.
Right.
You could go the other way. So people driving by it did take some photos. There was a motorcycle kind of off to the side in the median lying there, and that's around where you could observe officers doing their measurements and doing the traffic investigation and taking a good amount of time to do it. So it was quite a problem yesterday. That's what we know so far, and I'm sure later on we'll find out a bit more about what happened.
Well, there was people on site were saying that they were seeing ambulances with police escort being rushed to hospitals. So, we do know there are some injuries. We don't know the extent and the extent of the collision. Of course, the cause of it too, with the investigation continuing. But locking it down at a time, always a crucial time. So again, we don't know the reason why, but just watch your speed on the Pat Bay and watch out for others too, because we certainly don't like to see this happen, and it happens quite frequently.
Yeah, stay safe out there. I just wanted to address that for anybody kind of getting up and wondering, hey, that was a big thing last night when I drove by. What's it like now? That's the current state of things. Something you might notice if you're driving up Island, this is kind of around Duncan. It's very visible, Mount Prevost. It's just kind of there up on the horizon as you go through North Cowichan and Duncan, and there's a fire burning out of control as we speak. It is about 2 hectares in size as of last check, and the fire crews are currently attacking it with crews and water helicopters and tankers and all of those things. So yeah, we've all of a sudden got a fire, Lisa.
And it's testament to how dry it is outside, how quickly this can spread, because it was just discovered yesterday.
Yeah.
And boom, it's suddenly considered under control. And, 2 hectares in size can quickly multiply, as we've seen in other parts of BC today, this year. And as we've seen on the island, too, where, it's encroached on communities, it's closed highways. And so it's not close to a major highway, but of course it's our wilderness, and it's on the edge of a park. So hopefully crews can attack it. A lot of times the problems they have is getting to it because of the steep terrain and the vegetation that they're dealing with. And when it's super dry, it can spread faster than you can run. So I know crews with the sun up now, crews will be on it again. And I know they have the ability to attack it overnight as well now too. So fingers crossed we can get a handle on this one. This is our first major fire of the season this year, or I should say of the year, because the wildfire season goes all year round now for us. So yeah, we'll keep you posted on what happens next and where we're at with the battle on this fire.
If you go by the Trans-Canada Highway up near Duncan and you can see it, I'm kind of curious if it's visible or not from that side of things, because I think it's on the other side.
It is, yeah.
So it's not facing where, Duncan and North Cowichan are, but I wonder if you can see anything.
BC Wildfire is usually really good for posting photos of it too, and they don't have any up yet. So that could be another reason why they're sort of all hands on deck. Let's get this figured out. And they usually take the photos of it too, to watch the prevailing winds, to look at to get a better look at it from above, from the ground, from whatever perspective they can attack it from. But we'll keep a watch on it. This morning when I saw the red dot, I was quite surprised, but not surprised based on how dry it is. We have water restrictions mid-island.
And it is suspected to be human-caused, so stay safe out there.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. That's one of the things they said. Hey, I love it when you join the conversation at 71010. This texter is asking about something I mentioned in the traffic. I just heard you say that the Pat Bay is closed near Keating. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. If I gave that impression, I apologize. That's not what I meant. So it's the Keating flyover. Once you get up the flyover. Yeah. It's not the Pat Bay Highway at all, but
you take the exit.
As you take the exit, you kind of can't go anywhere. I mean, there is a detour route you can take, but they've closed sort of the end of the flyover for some work there. And we're going to find out more from somebody from the ministry about what's going on with that project coming up in the 7 o'clock hour in about an hour from now. So
it's always good to talk about construction.
Yeah. Exactly, because we've always got so much of it to sort of sort through. But texture, I apologize if I gave the impression the Pat Bay Highway is closed. In fact, it's not closed because of the Keating thing. It's not closed because of that earlier crash from yesterday, which we were talking about earlier. So sorry if I've given any.
It's early, right? And when we're half awake, we hear this and have a double take. We're awake now.
Exactly. You know what I have been hearing, though, and we were talking about this at the office yesterday, there is a shortage of some drugs, and I'm talking about like pharmacy drugs, prescription drugs. The Health Canada has noted that there are drug shortages for a number of things. We were even hearing from some colleagues yesterday trying to fill a prescription that a lot of the generic, cheaper drugs were not available. They were out. Only more expensive options were around. This is becoming a thing all of a sudden, eh?
Yeah, and it's been a thing since pandemic, actually, but it's actually sort of picking up speed. And I don't know why, if there's just one reason for it, but whether it's generic or the name brand, sometimes they just don't have it in stock. They'll ask you to come back. So pharmacies are scrambling a little bit with this, and it's very disconcerting. We've never had a problem usually getting pharmaceuticals, but this is something that has sort of started with the pandemic, and now it's sort of taken root. So, filling prescriptions, maybe check with your pharmacist, depending on what the product is. But we're going to find out more about what products are mostly affected. And why the shortage? Is it one reason, or is it a multiple reason? Perfect storm coming together. Because this is something, that makes people panic when the same as hearing that a road is closed. Is wait, I can't get my particular medication. It's not something that we're used to hearing. Right. So there's always options, but pharmacies, not just here, out east as well. I know Ontario is having the same problem. And pharmacists are scrambling to sort of find alternatives for people.
Yeah, it's curious. So we're hearing all this. We reached out to a local pharmacist who's be joining us in the 7 o'clock hour as well. So if this is something you've been hearing about, you want to know more. I mean, I don't know much myself. I'm really curious to talk to a local pharmacist about what is the situation when it comes to drugs. What do you need to know about this? Let's find out more. That's all coming up. But right now we should take a break because the 6:30 news is next. Lisa Best with the top stories of the day in just a moment.
Listen, and you're there for heart-wrenching knockouts, world's biggest stage, and breathtaking triumph. 2026 FIFA World Cup, the knockout stage. Every match, every moment. Listen on TSN Radio. Join the Globe on the road to the July 19th final. 2026 FIFA World Cup. Stream it all live on TSN Radio. Available on iHeartRadio. CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 6:31 on Tuesday, July 7th. A fairly decent day, kind of like yesterday, in fact. But watch for those winds off the Wantafuka Strait, making it feel a little cooler. We'll get you the full forecast in just a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
Good morning, Ryan. Things got out of hand in a Walmart parking lot in Langford over the weekend. West Shore CMP learned of a group of kids riding e-dirt bikes performing stunts in the parking lot. During the incident, one of the teens apparently pulled out bear spray and a knife, threatening a victim, demanding they hand over their belongings or get sprayed. Police were able to locate the group, but then they fled a traffic stop. One suspect abandoned their ride near Bear Mountain and fled on foot into a wooded area. A K-9 unit was brought in to track down that teen. Police are working now to identify and locate the remaining suspects involved in this robbery. Shawnigan Lake RCMP are looking for a vehicle involved in hit and run that happened on June 24th. A woman hit by a vehicle in the 2700 block of Shawnigan Lake Road while she was walking northbound on the shoulder of the road. Happened 4:30 in the afternoon. The woman was taken to hospital. She has luckily only non-life-threatening injuries. So a dozen submarines are purchased, and that's a big boom for Victoria. It means more workers, both in the infrastructure needed to operate the new subs and at the base, bringing the number of positions at CFB Esquimalt to as many as 2,500 personnel. Rear Admiral David Patchell, the commander of the Maritime Forces Pacific and Joint Task Force Pacific, says they've already scoped the spot for a new jetty. It'll be in Colwood.
So there'll be a maintenance facility on both coasts. There'll be new jetties on both coasts. So literally you can see Colwood across the harbor here. We've already mapped out where that infrastructure is going to go. And we're also building infrastructure for new destroyers, for the new tankers, and all the training we need to build a much larger Navy. And so roughly investing $10 billion over the next decade right here in British Columbia.
Right now, 3 of the 4 Canadian subs that we have are based at CFB Esquimalt. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says that the alliance will work with Swedish manufacturer Saab on 10 early warning surveillance planes built by a Canadian company. He told the audience at the NATO summit underway in Ankara, Turkey, that its current fleet is nearing the end of its lifespan.
Today, several allies are announcing the joint procurement of up to 10 Saab Global Eye aircraft to replace them. This will ensure we keep NATO's owned and operated surveillance and early warning capability strong and credible for decades to come.
NATO showcased a series of military projects worth billions of dollars in an attempt to convince the U.S. president that U.S. allies are converting fresh defense spending into real firepower. Survey results from KPMG Canada found that 42% of Canadian manufacturers say they have or are considered moving production into the U.S. Amika Gadi, the national director of industrial markets at that company, says the issues go beyond the current trade situation.
Some of the key factors that that companies have cited are more certainty around interprovincial trade barriers. They need more tariff certainty. They want to see lower corporate taxes. They want better access to capital and cheaper energy.
The survey also found that 57% of manufacturing firms have paused, reduced, or canceled capital investment projects. And another option to grow your green thumb, the Victoria Seed Library officially opens on Friday, launching with free vegetable, herb, flower, and pollinator-friendly seeds. To celebrate the launch, Life Cycles Project Society will be hosting an information table at the Greater Victoria Public Library's Central Branch from 11 till 1 on Saturday, giving you a chance to learn more about the program, ask your growing questions, and, of course, take out seeds. That's your news to 6:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. Have you lost interest in the World Cup or switched teams after Canada's loss to Morocco last weekend? 55% say, no, they're out. They've lost interest. 45% cheering for another team, another jersey to wear. You can vote now at cfax1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Lisa Best, your news time, 6:36.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. It's going to be another mostly sunny day. A few clouds, though. Warm, but windy by the Wanda Fuca Strait, a little cooler. We'll get you the full sense of it with the weather forecast in a moment. Right now to the sports. There's a little breaking news this morning. In the basketball world, Kyle Lowry has announced his retirement after 20 NBA seasons and will retire as a member of the Toronto Raptors. The 40-year-old revealed the decision in a post on his Instagram account, while the Raptors shared a photo of him in a Toronto jersey with the words, "Welcome home, Kyle." Lowry spent 9 seasons in Toronto and helped lead the franchise to its first NBA championship back in 2019. He also has had stops with the Memphis Grizzlies, Houston Rockets, Miami Heat, and Philadelphia 76ers. Lowry earned all 6 of his All-Star selections with the Raptors and ranks among the team's all-time leaders in games, assists, steals, three-pointers. The Raptors will be holding a news conference later today with Lowry and the general manager to formally mark his retirement. So that's the news out of the basketball world today. What else is going on? Well, the Victoria Harbour Cats baseball team will host the Bend Elks tonight. They're kicking off a 3-game series. They were off yesterday after being swept by Kelowna over the weekend. Victoria Harbour Cats back at the Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. The Blue Jays will be taking on the San Francisco Giants again. They're in the middle of a set, lost yesterday. The final 2 round of 16 games are scheduled for today at the World Cup of Soccer, and it is the end of the World Cup for Vancouver as a host city. This is the last one. BC Place preparing to host Switzerland and Colombia. They're squaring off. Also, Argentina will play Egypt in Atlanta in the other match. But yeah, that Vancouver one, a little bittersweet, as you know, Team Canada might be out, but Canada as a host city is still going one more time tonight, and then it's over for us as hosts. Today's winners advance to Saturday's quarterfinal showdowns in Kansas City. Last night at the World Cup, the United States' hopes for a deep World Cup run ended when we saw the Belgium team expose the American defensive liabilities in a 4-1 win that earned a quarter-final berth. So Belgium will play Spain on Friday in Los Angeles in the Final 8. Spain beat Portugal 1-0 earlier in the day in a game that ended Cristiano Ronaldo's time at the World Cup. And real quick, Wimbledon, 3-seeded Felix Auger-Aliassime of Montreal will face 7th-seeded Novak Djokovic of Serbia in men's singles quarterfinal action today at Wimbledon. Djokovic has won 24 Grand Slam championships, including 7 at Wimbledon. It'll be the 3rd time these two face each other, and the first since 2022. And that's your sports to 6:39. It's 6:40. Let's take a look at traffic and weather. The road's pretty clear right now. Watch out for road work just off of the Keating Road flyover. Once you kind of get off of the flyover and start heading Keating Crossroad, still some construction work causing delays there. For the commute, things are fine. Not seeing much in the way of volume delays as of yet, but if you see anything causing trouble this morning, do text me at 71010. What about up in Duncan and North Cowichan? Can you see the fire? There's a fire burning on the other side of Mount Prevost. wildfire being fought there. It erupted yesterday. Let us know if you can see it as you go by at 7:10:10. For the weather forecast today, it's a mainly sunny one. We will see some cloudy patches, though. Wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, still a factor. Gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour over times of the day. And that's going to make things feel quite a bit cooler. So here's the temperature situation. For mostly another warm day, high of 24, bit of humidity in the air, making it feel warmer. The humidex is 26. But 16 is more the temperature if you're right by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait. So a couple of different forecasts depending on where you find yourself. Partly cloudy tonight, still windy, lows to 13. And the rest of the week, still mostly sunny. Temperatures in the mid to low 20s. But again, occasionally windy by the Juan de Fuca Strait and feeling cooler if that's where you are. On the markets, North American stock markets are just opening. The bells are just ringing, waiting on those first results of the day. We closed off yesterday in Canada down. The S&P TSX weighed down by energy and mining companies, and the S&P TSX was down 62 points by the close to 35,212. In New York, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 155 to 53,055, and the Canadian dollar overseas has been around 70.34 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at cfax1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, Lisa, I'm actually getting a bit of a habit here.
Good
in
or
the mornings. I think it's a good habit. Okay. So, you get your routines. I get in, I get my coffee, and then I check to see what's happening with the CFAX Santa's Anonymous Mega Summer 50-50.
Big win, bigger impact.
Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Yeah, I like to see what the jackpot's doing.
I like the little music.
It's good music.
It's good. Happy.
So this is the big radio station-wide 50-50 raffle we've got going on right until the end of August. $2,305 is the current jackpot. Yesterday we crossed the 2,000 mark, and we've gone even higher since then. If you buy the ticket that gets drawn on August 28th at 7 a.m., right now you get half that jackpot. And the other half would go to CFAX Santa's Anonymous and their Kids Count program, which is helping kids in Greater Victoria beyond Christmas.
Yes, be normal kids.
And actually, we're going to talk all about this with Christine Goodsir from CFAX Santa's Anonymous, who's joining us in a few moments to talk about how the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50 is going, but also just talking a bit more about where that money goes.
Which is the most important thing.
Exactly.
If it's going to be local, you want it to have an impact. So you take some money home. Family take some money home. It's all good. And we've never done this before. This is a first for us.
Yeah, really exciting. So here's what you do if you want to take part, by the way. Go to either cfax1070.com or you can go to cfaxsantas.com and you'll see the big button right there, which is the Mega Summer 50-50. You click on that, you go online, and you order your tickets that way. We don't have a bucket we're walking around the baseball game here or the hockey arena. We've got a website.
Imaginary one.
Yeah, imaginary bucket. Single ticket for 10, 5-pack for 25, 20 tickets for 50, so you kind of get a deal if you buy more. And let's see if we can make that jackpot go a little higher today.
Nice.
Currently 2,305. It is a groovy little tune, isn't it?
I like it. It makes me feel happy.
What's happening in the news? Here's Lisa.
BC government, a little late to the party on this one, I think, but extending the time period for Vancouver businesses to be able to keep patios open beyond the FIFA World Cup tournament. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food says those with temporary summer patios for the soccer tournament can now apply to keep them open through the summer. Those approved for the extension will be able to continue operating the patios until September 6th. The move comes days after the City of Vancouver announced it's also keeping its Granville Street pedestrian zone open through the summer months after the area initially opened for festivities linked to the World Cup. Of course, as you know, there is one more game to come in Vancouver for the World Cup, and that happens coming up between, help me here, Ryan, we got Morocco and we've got Colombia. No, it's Colombia.
What are we talking about tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, tonight, Switzerland, Colombia.
Thank you, Switzerland. I couldn't think of the other team. So, yes, so that's happening. A survey by KPMG Canada shows 42% of Canadian manufacturing companies are considering moving production to the U.S. 77% of those thinking about relocating expect to make the transition within the next 2 years. KPMG Canada partner Amika Gadia says that the issues go beyond the current trade situation, with Canada needing to create a competitive environment for manufacturers to grow. The survey comes after the U.S. said last week it's not renewing CUSMA, and at least not in its current form. BC Hydro is offering you the chance to get free smart thermostats. It's part of the Power 2.0 Energy Conservation Plan. The registration begins this week. Thermostats from 2 Canadian companies will start arriving in the fall. The devices will come pre-enrolled with BC Hydro's Peak Saver program, so hopefully saving you money as well. And that is your headline news to 646.
We'll talk more about the raffle, our 50-50 for kids count. We'll talk more, too, about how the money helps out children in Greater Victoria through CFAX Santa's Anonymous, because Christine Goodsir, Executive Director, is joining us in just a moment. We'll also check the traffic and weather. If you see anything out there causing trouble, do text us at 71010 or just give us a sense of how the commute's going for you. If you can do it hands-free and safely. That's all next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island. Broadway Victoria presents Kinky Boots, coming to Royal Theatre from July 7th through 12th. Get your tickets at rmts.bc.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived. It's fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. Let's take a look at your traffic and weather. Let us know if you see anything out there, because right now it's been pretty easy going. No crashes. We did have that crash yesterday that closed the Pat Bay Highway between kind of Royal Oak and Quadra. That stretch northbound closed for hours last night. It is not a thing this morning. The scene is clear if you are commuting. Still at the end of the Keating flyover, so not at the highway side, but kind of at the end of it where you'd get onto Keating Crossroad. Watch out for road work there. That's the thing that's been happening overnight. And at BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. 7 o'clock sailing, lots of room left, and it leaves in 10 minutes. The weather, there's a lot going on, so we see some sunny periods, but also some cloudy periods for Greater Victoria today. The wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait is going to be gusting still up to about 70 kilometers an hour, so still quite strong, making it feel quite cool if you're on that side of the capital region. So 16 degrees could be your temperature right by the water. Otherwise, it's 24 and a bit humid, making it feel like 26. A lot in the forecast today. A few clouds tonight, lows to 13. Still windy. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds. Still windy. Highs of 24, but cooler by the water still. And it's kind of the picture for the next few days. Fairly stable weather forecast as we head into the week.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Well, the mega summer 50-50 is going. We were just talking about that a few moments ago, giving up that total, which is $2,305. That's the raffle jackpot right now. And here to talk more about it, we've got Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Santa's Anonymous. Christine, hello. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you and Lisa?
Well,
good morning.
We are actually both enjoying the fact that not only do we have a 50-50 raffle on the radio station for the first time ever with the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50. We've got a theme song.
Big win, bigger impact.
Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
I'm just enjoying the theme song a lot, Christine, this morning. That's where I'm at.
I love it. Yay.
All right. Now I'm in the right mood to talk about this. There we go.
Me too.
So we've been talking about this. Oh, actually, as we've been speaking, it just went up a few dollars. It's now $2,355.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. It's happening live in front of us.
It's just so wonderful. I mean, what a way to get together and make a difference right now. I love that. I loved hearing the money.
Yeah, it's even better than the theme song, right?
Yeah, because sitting in our seats, we're the ones that are sitting here thinking, oh, my goodness, everybody who plays with this game, this 50-50, is helping. And that's just what we need. We need it so badly in our community. And, I just can't believe that we're having to say that we need food for kids.
Yeah.
But we do. I mean, and that's, you don't want to be Debbie Downer about it all the time, but you really feel like it sometimes because you can see how much need there is. And so this is about feeding kids breakfast foods. So let's do that. I mean, how hard is it to maybe give up a special coffee today and maybe walk away with enough coffee for your whole office for a year?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So the way we don't be Debbie Downers is to be very specific about where the money goes, because you have specific organizations that you help. So can you name names and give us details?
Absolutely. I mean, when we're just talking about food, our funding committee gets together and honestly, we attack the need all year long. But Backpack Buddies, we're going to be making sure that kids have food to go home on the weekends. So that's going to happen when September rolls around. Burnside Gorge Community Center, we've been very close with them through the years. As they struggle to help more and more families every single year. And that's the word out there, too, for us, for all charities right now, is struggle. It's down. It's tough. And we're asking for help. And that's the only thing we can do is say, please help us help kids in our own community. So in May and June, it was fresh food for 480 families. In July and August at Burnside Gorge Community Center, this is a snack program. So that's sending home enough snacks to get through the week because kids are hungry all day long. It's not just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, or they're going to an activity and they need some snacks. So we're going to help 480 families do that as well.
It's about the quality of food too, right, Christine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is because as you can see, if a family is trying to feed 3 kids and they're struggling to get by as it is, you hit the grocery store and your options aren't there. For you might be looking at food that you normally wouldn't buy, but it's going to fill a tummy. So, the more that we can help these organizations provide really healthy, balanced diets, the better off we're all going to be.
Yeah, we know we've had studies recently come across a news desk about how many families are just bypassing the produce section because they just can't do it. It's just too expensive.
Absolutely. And meat and proteins, so we don't want carb heavy diets. We want to have, the whole Canadian food guide system for our kids growing up. So, and unfortunately, and I hate to say it again, but 1 out of 5 kids in our province alone is growing up in poverty. So let's just do that today. Give up a coffee and buy a ticket. It's a lot of fun. It's a great opportunity to help us create food and fun for kids in our community this summer.
Good combo, food and fun.
I like that combo. So it's the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50, and you can buy a ticket by going online. We'll say this again. You can either go to our CFAX1070.com website, or you can go to the CFAXSantas.com website and click on the big button that says, Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. You can kind of navigate to the page where you buy a ticket right there. We do have some of the usual restrictions in place when you're buying these kind of, raffle tickets. You have to be a BC resident. You got to be over 19. Those kind of things apply. But otherwise, you can buy as many tickets as you want. You can do it right now. You can do it tomorrow. You can keep on doing it, Christine. It's kind of a cool thing, this 50/50.
It really is. It's new to us, and again, what we really want to do is get the message out there, and invite people to make an impact. It's that easy.
While we've been talking, Christine, we sold some tickets because it's now at $2,455.
Nice.
You could buy a ticket for 10, 5 tickets for 25, 20 for 50. I feel like one of those guys walking around the hockey arena with the bucket going, get your 50/50 tickets. It's
kind of fun.
Single for 10, 5 for 25.
Hey, there's a lot of summer left, Ryan. Right? Lisa, we could drag him out, with his bucket.
Careful what you wish for.
It goes.
Actually, yeah, I feel like just once over the course of this summer campaign, I should get out with a bucket. Maybe you'll see me out there somewhere. I'll be at some sports game, or I'll go downtown. Maybe I'll just be walking outside the studio down the road in Esquimalt with my 50/50 raffle bucket, selling tickets.
There's Ryan
again. I'll follow behind with the iPad.
There you go, yeah.
There you go.
Christine Goodsir, Executive Director of CFAX Santas Anonymous. There you go. The 50/50 is on now. It's the big draw on the 28th of August, which seems like a long time, but it's going to fly by. Don't wait. Go check it out. Christine, we'll talk again soon.
Take care. Thanks.
Thank you.
Ooh, that's a lot of fun. And I love the fact that the totals have been going up as we've been speaking.
Yeah, it's nice to see the number keep changing in real time.
Yeah.
And so I've got to post it in the CTV headlines for you if you want to keep track. You can buy for yourself, you can buy for family. And this number where we're at now, which is at 24 and change, 2,400 and change, we're just going to keep going up from that. So the more you win, the more we win. Everybody wins, especially families locally.
So many important things to talk about coming up in the next hour. We're going to talk about what's happening with the Keating flyover. There's some of that road work which is going on overnight. So what's the status of that project? Also, we're hearing about a drug shortage in Canada at the pharmacy. How is that affecting things locally? What do you need to know? We're going to talk to a local pharmacist. That's next hour. And what does Canada's submarine purchase? The German subs are the ones we've selected. It's going to mean a lot locally, too, with new infrastructure being built at CFB Esquimalt on the Colwood side. We were learning that yesterday. So many things to cover important to you right here in Victoria. Stay with us in the next hour.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 7:01 on Tuesday, July 7th. We have a mostly sunny day, but some cloudy patches and some wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait will also be a factor. Full forecast to come. Right now, the news begins, and here is Lisa Best.
One new wildfire of note on Vancouver Island. This one is considered burning out of control at this point, and it's believed to have been human caused. It's about 2 hectares in size, situated northwest of Mount Prevost, north of Duncan. BC Wildfire Service say they have 3 initial attack crews attending to this, as well as 2 water tenders, 2 choppers in the air, and additional tanker support doing battle. Province-wide, there's 20 fires burning, 5 new fires in the past 24 hours. 5 of those are considered out of control. One of those here, mid-island on Vancouver Island. If you see it or see any smoke, that's what we're dealing with. A new survey shows trade tensions has some Canadian manufacturers deciding to move production south of the border or delay capital investments. Amika Gadia is a national leader of the industrial markets at KPMG Canada. She says manufacturers have shown resilience over the last year, but everything has its limits.
Our survey clearly shows that, while companies have been making short-term decisions to adapt to tariffs and trade uncertainty, they're now moving towards making longer-term investment decisions.
The survey found 42% of Canadian manufacturers say they have or are considered moving production into the U.S. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the alliance will work with Swedish manufacturer Saab for new warning surveillance planes, early warning surveillance planes built here in Canada. The Global Eye system combines Saab technology with Bombardier's Global 6500 business jet. He told the audience at the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey today that the system is already well tested.
It is a proven system with a demonstrated ability to detect, track and identify complex threats, including drone swarms, ballistic missiles and cruise missiles.
As we know, the Prime Minister announcing in May that Ottawa was looking to buy 6 surveillance aircraft from Saab. Defense Minister Dave McGuinty says the Prime Minister spoke with South Korean President Lee Jae-myung today in Turkey ahead of the NATO summit. This comes after Mark Carney announced Monday that the bid to supply the Royal Canadian Navy's next fleet of 12 subs was a close race between TKMS and South Korea company Hanwha. Speaking to reporters in Ankara today, McGuinty says there are other opportunities for Canada and South Korea to work together. It's not going to be this project.
Well, I know in the Polish case, in fact, the decision was made by Poland through its defense industrial strategy to strike an IP deal with South Korea and get the intellectual property from Korea and manufacture on Polish soil. That's a decision they made. That's not a decision that we've made in our defense industrial strategy. There is lots of opportunity for Canada to cooperate with Korea going forward. We'll see how this evolves in due course.
Now, as we know, 3 of the 4 current subs are based here, 12 new subs coming to Canada from a German company. It was also announced to CFB Esquimalt yesterday that a new jetty and submarine maintenance facility will be built in Colwood. The Navy is expecting to spend about $10 billion in the region over the next decade. It's also staffing up to operate about 1,000 positions required. The local base expected to go to about 2,500 staff in total once this is done. Esquimalt Mayor Barb Desjardins says the entire region is going to benefit.
This is fantastic news, always. The township and CFB Esquimalt, we have a very good relationship, close relationship. And we realize the benefit both to both of our communities, but also to the region on this kind of spending for military improvements.
And that is your news to 7:05.
The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
Your CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning, we're asking you, have you lost interest in the World Cup or switched teams after Canada's loss to Morocco last weekend? 55% losing interest, 45% changing teams. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com, also on the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa, best your news time, 7:06.
Love it. Yeah, I've hitched my bandwagon to England.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Although, it's weird. I've still been watching so many of these games, maybe more than I expected. I don't know if it's because Vancouver and Toronto, Canadian cities are hosting.
That's part of it.
Or if it's just the fact that the games are on during the day. You can have them on at the office. I don't know what it is. Something about this World Cup is making me watch it more than ever, even though Canada's out.
And are you finding a love for the beautiful game?
Kind of. Yeah, that's what it is. And Vancouver, by the way, gets to play host one last time. BC Place Stadium will be seeing one last of these soccer matches in the World Cup. So let's talk about that in sports here. The round of 16 continues, the knockout phase of the tournament. And at BC Place Stadium, Switzerland and Colombia will square off, and it'll be the last thing we see in Vancouver. And after that, Canada kind of bows out as a host. The final games will be elsewhere. But it's been great to see. Today's winners will advance to Saturday's quarterfinal showdown in Kansas City. The other game, by the way, is Argentina playing Egypt. So we're going to see Messi out there. Big games today. Last night, the United States bowed out. So Canada knocked out. Mexico was knocked out by England back on Sunday. And now the United States, the third of the host countries, knocked out. This happened yesterday at the hands of Belgium, who had a 4-1 win over the U.S. Spain also beat Portugal, and Cristiano Ronaldo is out after Spain's 1-0 win earlier in the day yesterday. Okay, local sports. Texter at 71010 says, "Hey, Ryan and Lisa, I was wondering if you could mention the Junior A Shamrocks." I sure can, because they're hosting the Nanaimo Timbermen this evening at the Q Center. Game time is 7 o'clock. Thanks so much, Texter, at 71010 for letting us know. Victoria Harbour Cats in baseball will host the Bend Elks tonight. It kicks off a 3-game series. And for the basketball world, the big news out of that this morning, Kyle Lowry has announced his retirement after 20 NBA seasons and will retire as a member of the Toronto Raptors. The 40-year-old revealed the decision in a post on Instagram, and then the Raptors shared a photo of him in a Toronto jersey with the words, "Welcome home, Kyle." So that was taking place today. We also have some Canucks news off the ice. Jamie Oleksiak says the opportunity to sign with the Canucks was too good to pass up. The veteran defenseman signed a 2-year, $10 million U.S. deal to play in Vancouver. And he says he brings a veteran presence to the rebuilding team.
Coming in now, I'm a little bit more of a veteran player, I guess, and I've been around the league for a while, and I can kind of bring my experiences to the team and just show up every day with a good work ethic and try and help set the standard and work with some of these young players and the veteran guys they also brought in as well.
Oleksiak spent the last 5 seasons with the Seattle Kraken and put up 15 points with 5 goals last season. There's your sports. It's 7:10. The CFAX Morning Show is brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season, wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived, fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, hey, let me know at 7:10:10 what it looks like out there, because what it looks like from my perspective is another easygoing commute from the West Shore into Victoria. Hardly any delays to speak of other than just people taking it easy through the Trans-Canada Highway construction zone where they're widening the bus lanes. But that just is is construction zone stuff. There isn't anything as far as backups or major congestion. We will be talking in a few moments, about 10 minutes from now, to the Ministry of Transportation about the Keating flyover overnight work that's been happening. That should be clear now, I believe. But just watch out for the construction zone there. They're doing some overnight work, and we're going to find out more about it in just a few minutes. At the ferries, no sailing waits. At BC Ferries, Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen, 8 o'clock sailing, lots of room left. And then for the weather forecast, today's a bit mixed because it depends on where you are. If you're for most of Greater Victoria, it's going to be a mostly sunny day. We'll see some clouds. We'll see highs up to about 24, but feeling a little warmer and a bit of humidity that's in the air still. Well, then if you're by the water, by the Wandafuka Strait, it's going to be like 16 degrees and gusts up to 70 kilometers an hour with westerly winds kind of hammering that side of the capital region. So very different weather forecast depending on where you are. That's kind of the forecast for the next few days as well. Just kind of carries on like that. Right now, temperature-wise, if you are in downtown Victoria, our temperature is 12 degrees. In North Saanich, it's 15. Getting a first look at the North American stock market says the trading day is underway. In Toronto, S&P TSX has rebounded about 121 points after some losses yesterday. It's at 35,334. The Dow is up 32 to 53,088. Canadian dollar at 70.4 cents U.S., which is about where it was at the close yesterday.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Speaking of business news, that was a big part of that submarine announcement yesterday. So, of course, you had Mark Carney in Halifax saying we've chosen the German bid. At the same time, here at CFB Esquimalt, there was another news conference where we talked about the submarine purchase and what it means for Greater Victoria. And you've had this in the news all morning,
it's
Lisa.
A lot.
Yeah, but it was
great.
It was interesting just to hear what it's going to mean for Greater Victoria. And Rear Admiral David Patchell, commander of Maritime Forces Pacific and Joint Task Force Pacific, was talking about, what does this mean for the Greater Victoria area?
There are about 6,500 defense team members that work here in British Columbia, public servants and military members, and we'll grow that to about 9,500, including the new civilian workers that we need to maintain and repair our ships. So that's just on the people side, so a significant investment, and that entire training pipeline for our military members. Along with that, new jetties, new ammunition jetty, new housing, new accommodation blocks, new train facilities. So all of that. And we have the footprint we need to build that and a really detailed plan to get there.
Yeah, kind of sketching out just the jobs that are going to come out of this. That's right. Locally.
And the amount of people coming here. It's interesting because in the spring, we had the Esquimalt mayor on. And she said something interesting that sort of piqued my interest. She said, just on Esquimalt Boulevard alone, there are 3,000 units going up, apartment units or condos for people to live in. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of living. Well, it's starting to make sense now. Yeah. Maybe Esquimalt just, was planning ahead for things to happen. But this is going to change the face of Esquimalt quite a bit. Yeah, and our military.
And Colwood, because the actual facility, they said, in the news conference yesterday, they confirmed they've scoped out a spot for this new jetty on the Colwood side of Esquimalt Harbor.
Right.
So that is where some of that construction is going to go, which we actually had heard because one of the military members who spoke to us a couple of months ago, kind of looking ahead to this, sort of dropped that hey, this is something that would come out of the submarine purchase.
Right.
And here we are. It sounds like it's getting confirmed. So, just there's of course, the military implications of this, but just as a local business story, this submarine purchase announcement yesterday has huge implications. So we'll continue to follow that and talk about it here on CFAX. Right? Yeah. At 7:15, what else is going on in the news? Here's Lisa.
A woman is missing on Vancouver Island Provincial Park after reportedly being swept away by strong currents in a river. Police in Port Alberni say they were called to the Stamford Provincial Park on the weekend after a swimmer was reported missing. So far, they have not been able to locate the woman. Crews on scene again yesterday, continuing the search. You might find parts of the park closed to accommodate the search efforts moving forward. On top of those dozen subs, NATO working to work with Swedish manufacturer Saab on 10 radar jets, which will be largely built in Canada. NATO Secretary General says its current fleet will be replaced by the Global Eye system, which is nearing the end of its lifespan. The president and CEO of Saab says the company is confident that Global Eye is the right choice for the alliance. In May, the Prime Minister announced that Ottawa was looking to buy 6 surveillance aircraft from Saab, so we're working on strengthening our presence in the air and on the water as well. And Prince Harry has lost a privacy case against the UK publisher, the Daily Mail. The Duke of Sussex, along with Sir Elton John, Baroness Lawrence, and several others sued Associated Newspapers Limited over claims of unlawful information gathered. Claimants accused the publisher of grave breaches of privacy. They denied the allegations. While the judge said the allegations are serious, he determined the claimants required more convincing evidence and failed to prove allegations of unlawful information gathering. And that's your news to 717.
Coming up next, let's find out more about what's happening with this Keating Crossroad and Central Saanich road work that's happening. Overnight closures are taking place this week. What's happening right now and what's happening just overall? Because this flyover at Keating and the Pat Bay Highway, it's kind of done, but not really.
It's nice when you can take it.
It's there. It's fully functional. But why is it still a construction zone? What is going on with this project? We're going to find out more as we talk to somebody with the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. In fact, their Deputy Director of the South Coast Region, Janelle State, will be our guest in just a moment. And speaking of the roads, if you see anything out there, text us at 71010. Let us know. We'll get that in traffic next. CFAX at 70 traffic and weather at 7:20. Roads are looking pretty clear. No crashes or accidents right now. No major delays out of the West Shore. And just in case anybody's tuning in wondering about the Pat Bay Highway yesterday between Royal Oak and Quadra, where there was that collision, looked like involving a motorcycle, and a big investigation that followed by Saanich Police. It's all open and flowing now. This was a yesterday evening thing. Things have been fine as of this morning for that stretch of road. For the BC Ferries, no sailing weights right now. For the weather forecast, mostly a sunny day with some cloudy patches, highs of 24, and a bit of humidity in the air, making it feel a bit warmer. That's part of the picture, but the other part of the picture is if you're by the Juan de Fuca Strait and that kind of western side of the capital region, big strong winds coming off the Juan de Fuca Strait, gusting up to 70 kilometers an hour, feeling more like 16 degrees as the temperature there. Tonight, few clouds, lows to 13, still windy. Tomorrow, it's the same forecast again, pretty much. Just a mix of sun and cloud, high of 24, cooler by the windy water, and expect that to play out for the next few days. It's a very stable forecast now as we get into the week. Right now, for the temperatures, it is 12 degrees.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
One of the things we're talking about in traffic is the Keating Crossroad flyover over the Pat Bay Highway, just kind of at the end of it, as you, not at the beginning of the flyover, but as you get to the end of the flyover, there have been overnight closures this week for continued work on that project. Here to talk more about where things are at and what's the state of things right now, my guest is Janelle State, Deputy Director of the South Coast Region for the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Always nice to chat.
So to start with, what's the status right now? Is it open? Is it closed? What's happening on the flyover?
It is open again. So the intersection of Keating Crossroad and Central Saanich Road is open. The intersection actually reopened at 4 a.m. about an hour before when it was intended to reopen.
Okay, so fully flowing now, but there's more overnight closures coming this week, right? Or is that over now?
No, we have another overnight closure this week, again tonight. So last night what they did is they basically milled out some of the existing pavement in the intersection, did some basically patchwork to make sure it was smooth, and then got some temporary lines before they reopened it this morning. And then tonight they're going to go back in there, and actually that's when they're going to repave the intersection.
So the actual paving work is tonight?
It is tonight, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then one more night after that if needed?
One more night if needed, and in that case, it would be single-lane alternating traffic, so certainly much less disruptive for folks because we would be able to get some traffic through.
All right, so that's the big thing this week, and just watch out for those delays and full closures as the week goes on. But let's put this into perspective. So this Keating flyover from the Pat Bay Highway turning onto Keating Crossroad, the flyover itself has been done for a little while. It's working, it's operational, but it's still a construction zone. You certainly know that as you go by. You still see the cones, you still see the signs stating slow down. It's a construction speed zone. Where are we at, and how does this fit into the overall completion of the project?
Yeah, so this really is the home stretch here. We expect that we should have all work wrapped up by the end of this month. So the closures that you're seeing last night and tonight are helping us get there. We do have some final paving on the on-ramp that needs to get done. We have some line painting, and there's just some kind of, I'll say, minor touch-up work that we have in all of our construction projects as we get to the home stretch here. So we're very much there, but as you said, it still is a construction speed zone throughout because the contractor is in and out as they try to get everything buttoned up and get out of there and have this project complete.
So, but does that mean when this paving work at the end of the flyover, at the Central Saanich Road at end of it, once this road work is complete, this paving, does that mean it's done?
That means that particular intersection is done, but there is still some more work in the overall project, in the larger area of the project. So whether it's some minor work on the girder where the actual flyover is, some minor landscaping work and some minor line painting, but not going to see any sort of significant impacts moving forward. And as I say, by the end of July, everything should be buttoned up and we should have it returning to pre-construction speed limits back to 80.
Okay, so end of this month is the timeline for it to be completely cleared. I think some folks are, just interested in why it takes so long, because this is, just been a very long period of time where this has been a construction zone, and sometimes you get to that point where it looks like a thing is done, but it's really not, and it's still going. So talk about that and how these things go and why these things sort of stay active construction zones for longer than you might think.
Yeah, I think part of it is when we're working in Victoria or other large centers like Metro Vancouver, we're trying to balance keeping traffic moving at the same time that we're building a project. So that certainly slows things down as compared to greenfield construction, where you can just start building with not having to worry about how to keep traffic moving. So that's a big piece of it. Our big push at the start of this project was really to get that flyover open, because that's when folks were able to eliminate that left turn that was unsignalized and really enable them to smoothly fly over any conflict of traffic. That was open last summer, and really between last summer and this summer, it's really been focused on the on-ramp, the intersection of Keating and Central Saanich, the landscaping, and with any project, just cleaning up any sort of deficiencies or pieces that the contractor needs to tidy up before they head out of the site.
And now that it's almost over, the Keating flyover, did it kind of work out the way it hoped? Is it kind of fully functioning in the way it was envisioned? What's your review of the finished product?
Yeah, I mean, since the flyover has been open since I think it was last July, it's working well. We're eliminating what we knew was a very challenging left turn, and in some cases had some very negative consequences with those crashes. And by eliminating that with the flyover, we're certainly seeing the benefits we were hoping for. And with the Keating industrial area just continuing to flourish out there, it really enables that industrial traffic to get off the highway and get to where it's headed that much more quickly, which is great from an economic perspective as well.
And is there any other surrounding road that still needs to be reconfigured or worked out? Because I know some other roads got kind of, one got cut off, which used to be in kind of one that went on to the Pat Bay Highway, and there's been a few others in the area around there that had to get reworked. Is there anything else that needs to happen kind of off to the sides of this?
No, as you say, we're more on sort of the tidying up stretch. So the closures that we saw at East Saanich Road and Martindale Road, those are sort of permanent closures that were always envisioned as part of this project, and there's other routes for folks to get on. But ultimately, the state that you see it out there is pretty close to what we see in the finished product as we head out at the end of the month here.
Okay, well, that's a great update. Much appreciated. We're talking to Janelle State with the Ministry of Transportation, just talking about what they're doing there with these overnight closures at the kind of end of the Keating flyover. They're doing some paving work there. It's getting near the end, though. By the end of the month, this thing might be fully done and no longer a construction zone. But do obey the speed limit for the time being as they continue to work. Janelle, thank you so much. It's always great to talk to you and get these updates on what's happening on the roads in front of us.
Thanks for having me. Always appreciate the connect.
All right, there we go. We'll talk more about what's happening in traffic coming up. And if you see anything out there this morning, text us at 71010. Top stories of the day with Lisa in just a moment. We get your weather forecast, too, on this morning show that is brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home, no matter the season, and big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. Designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer.
Listen, and you're there for heart-wrenching knockouts, world's biggest stage, and breathtaking triumph. 2026 FIFA World Cup, the knockout stage. Every match, every moment. Listen on TSN Radio. Join the Globe on the road to the July 19th final. 2026 FIFA World Cup. Stream it all live on TSN Radio. Available on iHeartRadio. CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:30 on this Tuesday, July the 7th. We're looking at a mostly sunny day. There will be some cloudy patches, and there will be wind off the Wanda Fuca Strait again. Otherwise, it's warm and summery, and I got a full forecast in just a moment. Right now, though, it's time for the news. Here is Lisa Best.
Thank you. Vic PD asking for tips from the public on an unprovoked assault on a woman over the weekend. Happened 10:30 Sunday night. She was waiting for a bus in the 600 block of Johnson Street. She was hit in the head by an unknown suspect who hit her from behind. The suspect then left on foot heading south. Police believe there may have been other witnesses in the area at the time. The suspect, described in his 30s or 40s with a medium build, he was wearing a baseball cap, a dark hoodie or jacket, and black pants. Investigators are looking for any dash cam footage you may have captured in the area of the 600 block of Johnson Street around 10:30 Sunday night. They're asking anyone who may have been in the area to walking, because it's a busy time and area, that they may, if you know anything at all, to contact them. Police in Saanich trying to track down whoever stole $10,000 in jewelry from a home in that neighborhood. The theft believed to have occurred at some point between June 9th and 28th at a residence in the 4300 block of Maltwood Lane. The stolen jewelry includes 3 necklaces, 3 rings, and 2 bracelets. We have a new wildfire, and it's concerning. It's up island. It's considered burning out of control at this point, and it's believed to be human-caused. It's currently about 2 hectares in size. It's situated northwest of Mount Prevost, north of Duncan. The BC Wildfire Service says 3 initial attack crews, 2 water tenders, 2 choppers, and additional tanker support are battling the flames. Province-wide, we have 20 fires burning. 5 new fires have sparked in the past 24 hours. 5 of those are considered out of control, and that includes the one here on Vancouver Island. An announcement at CFB Esquimalt yesterday regarding the new subs being built for Canada, a new jetty being built for Colwood, and a lot more people being hired. Rear Admiral David Patchell, commander of the Maritime Forces Pacific and Joint Task Force Pacific, outlined how things are about to change in Greater Victoria as part of this dozen sub purchase.
There are about 6,500 defense team members that work here in British Columbia, public servants and military members, and we'll grow that to about 9,500, including the new civilian workers that we need to maintain and repair our ships. So that's just on the people side, so a significant investment, and that entire training pipeline for our military members. Along with that, new jetties, new ammunition jetty, new housing, new accommodation blocks, new train facilities. So all of that. And we have the footprint we need to build that and a really detailed plan to get there.
So things are about to change over the next decade. $10 billion being spent in the region. That new jetty expected to be built in Colwood. Currently, 3 of the 4 subs Canada has are based here at CFB Esquimalt. The BC government is exploring legal options related to the mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, where 10 people died in February. Attorney General Nikki Sharma holding a news conference today, but the province won't provide details yet on the specific legal options that they're looking into. Public Safety Minister Nina Krieger said back in May that the police investigation into the shooting was in its final stages and a coroner's inquest has been called. The shooting on February 10th killed 10 people, and the shooter used ChatGPT before the shooting, and that company now subject to multiple lawsuits. Country musician Corb Lund says he has questions about the process Elections Alberta used to reject his anti-coal mining petition, and he's now looking to take the matter to court. The failed petition was the latest setback for Lund in 6 years of fighting coal mining on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains. Lund and his group, Water Not Coal, may apply for a judicial review in the coming days. He doesn't necessarily believe the count. Elections Alberta says verification process was rigorous and has cited unconfirmed voter information as a reason for rejecting the signatures. He came short, apparently, in that department. Defense Minister Dave McGuinty spoke with reporters today about the Prime Minister's Monday announcement that Germany's TKMS will supply the Navy's next fleet of submarines. This over South Korea's Hanwha. Defense Minister McGuinty says selecting TKMS as the preferred bidder would improve the interoperability with allies in Arctic defense.
It means that we can each share crews, for example, on the submarines. It means that we can look to sustainment through our 3 countries. It means that there's a high degree of interoperability. It means that we can cooperate more fulsomely when it comes to the Arctic. There are a number of features that emanate from the choice.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the alliance is angling to purchase a fleet of Saab Global Eye radar jets, largely manufactured here in Canada as well. That's your news to 7:35. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question. We're asking, have you lost interest in the World Cup or switched teams after Canada's loss on the weekend? 55% have lost interest. 45% have switched to another team. You can vote now at CFAX1070.com or the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time, 7:37.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. We have a temperature right now at the Victoria International Airport. The official temperature is 16 degrees, which is about what we could expect by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait today as our top temperature. But for the inland areas, rising to 24 degrees today is what you can expect. And a full forecast is coming your way in just a moment. Over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. Lots to talk about here. So first off, for the Victoria Harbour Cats, as we hit the local sports scene, they're going to be hosting the Bend Elks tonight, kicking off a 3-game series over 3 days for the Victoria Harbour Cats. So they just came off being swept by Kelowna over the weekend. But back home for Royal Athletic Park Wilson's Group Stadium. Also tonight, the Victoria Junior A Shamrocks will be hosting the Nanaimo Timbermen this evening at the Q Centre. Game time is 7 p.m. Over to the footy. The final 2 round of 16 games are scheduled for today, including one in Vancouver, where BC Place Stadium prepares to host its final World Cup match. This will be the last thing we see in Canada for this World Cup. Switzerland and Colombia are that game at BC Place Stadium tonight. They're squaring off at the Vancouver Arena, Stadium. Argentina plays Egypt in Atlanta in the other match today, and the winners today advance to Saturday's quarterfinal showdowns in Kansas City. Last night we saw the U.S. and its hopes for a deep World Cup run come to an end at the hands of Belgium. It was a 4-1 win for Belgium over the United States, and this means all 3 host nations are out. The U.S., Canada, and Mexico have all been knocked out now as we get deep into the World Cup. For the world of Wimbledon, third-seeded Felix Auger-Aliassime of Montreal will face seventh-seeded Novak Djokovic of Serbia in a men's singles quarterfinal match today at Wimbledon. Djokovic has won 24 Grand Slam championships heading into this. And we've heard that Kyle Lowry has announced his retirement after 20 NBA seasons, and he's going to retire as a member of the Toronto Raptors. The 40-year-old revealed the decision in an Instagram post, and then the Raptors shared a photo of him in a Toronto jersey with the words, "Welcome home, Kyle." And swimming news. Summer McIntosh won the women's 400-meter individual medley at the Canadian Swimming Trials, but fell short of her own world record. The swimming phenom finished more than 3 seconds off her world record, which was set last year here in Victoria. McIntosh broke a long-standing 200-meter butterfly record last night, and she spoke about regrouping after an emotional start to the meet.
You kind of have to dumb it down and kind of, underappreciate it in a way. Like, you don't want to get too, cocky or too confident in yourself and know that each race is individual. Obviously, I broke the world record last night, but tonight wasn't my best swim, so that's why you really got to take it one step at a time.
The 19-year-old from Toronto returns to the Montreal Olympic pool today for the women's 400-meter freestyle. That's your sports to 7:39. Let's talk CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, and also mention that, hey, this morning show is brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. If you need a cab, download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. We were just talking to the Ministry of Transportation a few moments ago about the Keating flyover road work that's happening. So there's a bit of a construction zone at the other end of the flyover. When you get to the end of it, where it kind of gets towards where you're actually on Keating Crossroad now and you get to Central Saanich Road, big paving work is going on. They did the initial milling overnight last night. They'll have a full closure again tonight of the end of the flyover for the actual paving, and then one more night of obstructions coming up later this week. And then we're through that paving section of it, and they also mentioned that the whole project could be all wrapped up by the end of this month. So, it's still a construction zone going through there on the Pat Bay Highway, and has been for a while. That could come to an end later this month. I thought that was a good update there on the Keating flyover. Otherwise, for the roads, things are looking pretty uneventful. No major delays, no crashes. If you see anything, let me know at 71010. For the weather forecast, it is mainly sunny today, clouding over at times, and a good bit of wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, which is going to give us a couple of temperatures to note. For most of Victoria, 24 is the high, a little warmer and some humidity, a bit of humidity to the air again, a humidex at 26. But by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait and sort of those western exposed sides of the capital region, you're going to see temperatures more like 16 degrees. Tonight, a few clouds, lows to 13. Tomorrow, it's the same forecast again. Just a mix of sun and cloud, a little cooler by the water, otherwise a high of 24. On the markets, everything's just kind of down today. So far, at least. S&P TSX down 54 points to 35,158. The Dow is down 77 to 52,978. The NASDAQ is down 391. That's the number I'm looking for. At 25,729. And the Canadian dollar at 70.4 cents US, which is basically what it was yesterday.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Hey, one more look at the Kids Count Mega Summer 50/50. It's gone up to $2,590. This is our 50/50 raffle, supporting Kids Count from CFAX Santa's Anonymous, and also supporting the winner of the draw on August.
It's kind of a double-double, isn't it?
Yeah, August 28th.
We win.
We'll pull a number,
wins.
and if it's yours, you're going to get half that money. The other half going to CFAX Santa's Anonymous and helping to feed kids and get them breakfast.
Oh, good stuff.
So anyways, I just wanted to give that update there. We have been hearing, and maybe you've been hearing about this for a while, but it seems like it's building, this story about a drug shortage. Have you encountered this at the pharmacy? You go to get a prescription filled, and there's a shortage or a backlog or a delay in getting the actual medication. This is becoming a story we're hearing more and more, Lisa.
Yeah, and it's very disconcerting. It started sort of during the pandemic. There was a trickle-down effect from that. It's just about there was a number of shortages during the pandemic and post-pandemic. We're hearing it's not just here; it's right across Canada. Other provinces having the same problem. Pharmacists sort of scrambling for a plan B if they can't get you the medication that you've been taking for months, years, who knows how long. Depending on what you're dealing with. So we're going to find out what those medications are, if it's anything specific, and what pharmacists are doing to sort of reinvent the wheel sometimes for people.
Yeah, we're going to talk to a local pharmacist, actually a pharmacist at the Hillside PharmaSave, joining us in just a few moments, just to get that local perspective. How's this playing out here, and what do we in Victoria need to know about this? That is next. But first to the news, and here are the headlines with Lisa.
We'll take it to the mainland for that Sea to Sky Highway closure. A motorcycle killed in that collision trying to drive away from an attempted police traffic stop. RCMP say it happened Sunday afternoon around 5:30 between Squamish and Lions Bay. It closed down the route. The Independent Investigations Office says officers attempted a traffic stop, but the two motorcycles involved didn't stop. One of them ended up hitting an RV. That rider died at the scene. That closed the highway for about 8 hours. Of course, there was also a closure northbound the Pat Bay Highway during the late afternoon commute yesterday. That was a serious collision. No word on the extent of injuries, but a number of people rushed to hospital. We'll have more on that as it becomes available. That woman missing at a provincial park mid-island reported being swept away by strong currents in a river. Port Alberni RCMP say they were called Sunday to the Stamp River Provincial Park after she went missing. Searchers have not been able to locate her. Crews on scene again yesterday continuing that search. Parts of the park may be closed moving forward to accommodate the search effort, so just be aware if it's roped off. That's why you're dealing with that. The BC Chiefs Coroner says the pay boost for field coroners went into effect last month was long overdue. Dr. Jetwinder Badwin says it took a while to get the raise through because it was required in order in council to change the regulations. And it's the first raise for on-call coroners in a decade. Badwin says field coroner work varies widely between rural and urban areas, and some people don't last long on the job once they find out all that it entails. He says he hopes that a post-secondary course of some kind can be offered in the future to better prepare people for the job. The service looks to hire people in several BC communities this year alone. That's your headline news to 746.
See a problem in traffic? Text us at 71010. We're going to check our traffic and weather in just a moment. And then, talk about this medication shortage story and what it means in Victoria.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. First of the season wild Pacific sockeye salmon has arrived, fresh from the ocean, never frozen, and delivered daily. Eat happy at Thrifty Foods. On the roads, no crashes or accidents right now. No major delays out of the West Shore, and the Keating flyover is open again. The end of it, where it kind of gets onto actual Keating Crossroad, but another overnight closure coming tonight. Watch out for that. No waits at BC Ferries. The weather, mainly sunny today, but some cloudy periods at times. Warm, highs of 24, humid index of 26, but feeling like 16 by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait because those winds are still up today, and they will be for the next couple of days, it sounds like. Partly cloudy tonight, lows to 13, still breezy, mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, highs of 24, but cooler by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait, and then just kind of repeat that forecast for the next couple of days here. For the temperatures right now, in Saanich by Swan Lake, 13 degrees is what we're seeing. At Shawnigan Lake, it's also 13 degrees.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Yeah, let's get into this medication shortage story and what it means here in Greater Victoria. My guest is a doctor of pharmacy and the pharmacy manager at Hillside PharmaSave, Farouz Siraj. Sir, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. And I haven't encountered this personally, but I've been hearing from people who have encountered this. You go to get a prescription filled or something like that, and you find out that there are some delays or some waits or just sort of a general shortage of certain medications. Not just in Victoria. This seems to be a Canada thing, maybe even beyond that. So we thought it'd be worth reaching out because I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there who are experiencing this same story. So what's going on when it comes to medications? Are we really experiencing a shortage?
Yeah, thank you for having me on here. And you know what? That is something that's been happening for a couple of years now. Depending on the season, depending on the time, it'll be a different medication. But something that we've been experiencing for quite a while. It's quite frustrating for both the patients, for the pharmacy team, and other healthcare professionals for sure. So, yeah, it's been kind of ongoing, and we're kind of dealing with it as we go. Yeah.
So you mentioned ongoing, and it's been a couple of years, probably since the pandemic, I'd assume.
Yeah, exactly. It really took effect during the pandemic when production really shut down worldwide. And we kind of saw the ripple effect coming all the way, all across the world. It's just not affecting just us here in BC. It's Canada-wide. It's global-wide. And I wish I could tell you there's one simple reason, but no, it's a pretty complex situation. So it could be, again, depending on the season, it could be that there's more demand for a particular medication. For example, allergy season, right? Most prescribers will prescribe common nasal corticosteroid. As a pharmacist, we can prescribe for allergies as well. So it's kind of our go-to because it is effective, it is safe, and it is something that is usually covered by pharmacare. So it's kind of the one that we all kind of go for. So if we all start writing the prescription for that particular one, well, guess what happens? The demand goes up and the suppliers can't produce as much, so then there becomes a shortage. When that one goes on shortage, another one, we start selecting another one that might be as good or effective, might be a little bit more expensive. So that's kind of one of the reasons there's more demand than supply at particular times. There's also could be the reason that because we transport so much of our or I should say import so much of our medications into Canada, that there could be a delay in that way. It has to travel all across the world to get to us. If there's like geopolitical issues that are going on, which they are, there can be delays that way. There could be also lack of raw materials from the manufacturer, which can cause a delay. And if there's, let's say, policy changes in a part of the world that causes a little bit of a delay, in getting the product, it can again have that ripple effect. So it's a pretty big web of reasons that all lead to this big shortage of medication. So wish we had like 30 minutes to talk about it. But
break it all down. First, how have you been adapting to this to meet people's needs?
Yeah, for sure. So because it's been an ongoing issue for numbers of years, pharmacists have been playing a really good job at this. So first I want to say, whoever's listening says, do not panic. I'm sure some of the people who are listening, they're lining up in the pharmacy right now, panicking. Do not panic. Why? Is because we, the pharmacists, can actually, in most cases, make the therapeutic substitutions ourselves. We're the medication expert. Think of us as the medication doctors, right? So most of the time, what we have been doing is making the therapeutic substitution once we have all the information, once we get the patient's consent. So, for example, there's a really popular acid reflux medication, pantoprazole magnesium, or Tecta is the brand name. So it's been on back order for a couple of months. What we've been doing at Hillside is calling patients who are requesting that medication and letting them know about what's going on and what the alternatives are. And in majority of the cases, patients are happy with us making the therapeutic sub, and we let the original prescriber know that we have done that. So we've been kind of doing this for a lot of the things, and it's been working quite well because there's a lot of alternatives. In majority of the situations, there are alternatives.
Is there
so
one?
we've been kind of taking.
Sorry. Is there one particular medication or a number of medications that are chronic shortage?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's so many, and I always kind of joke about it now. It's like, what's the flavor of the month? And there's many things, and it really depends on, again, like I said, the season, depends on the prescribing patterns. So there's a lot of stuff out there, but usually when there's policy changes, when National Pharmacare came into effect, that again covered some hormonal therapies. So that took a little big spike because now some of these hormonal therapies are covered. So there's a bigger prescribing pattern that emerged. So there's, when that demand goes up and the supply can't follow, there can be an issue that way. So the other things that we've been kind of also, thinking about is reducing wastage. So some patients may get medications that says take it only if you need it, and they'll still fill it, but they won't take it, and then they're going to bring it back a year later to the pharmacy to be disposed. So this is where we need to, really think about reducing our waste. One of the biggest things is, if you don't need it right now, just keep it on the pharmacy's profile. It's good for 2 years from the time it was written. So those are little things that we can do to reduce that shortage.
Another thing, I just want to go back to something you said earlier where you mentioned that, don't panic. There's lots of alternatives or, other things that will accomplish what you need when it comes to medications, and pharmacists can help you navigate that. What if, though, what is happening is a cheaper version of the drug you need is the thing that is in short supply, and the alternative is a more expensive drug? Does that come at the cost to the purchaser, or will drug plans cover the more expensive options sometimes? Or how does that work if the alternative is not the generic cheap one?
Yeah, so for example, Pharmacare, they've been doing a really good job at this, and this is one thing that I will give them credit for, is whenever the cheaper alternative is on back order, they will switch to the more expensive, and they will pay for the more expensive one. So most drug coverage will shift. The time that it takes the shift to happen might be a little bit of adjustment period, but majority of time, Pharmacare, for example, they do pick up the more expensive product.
And how do you
just
know?
Until...
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'll let you finish. I got to follow up, but finish your sentence.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just until Pharmacare, just until the generic costing medication is available again, so Pharmacare will pay for the brand name.
And what about if you have like a private insurance? Is that, I guess that'll depend on the insurance?
That will depend on the insurance,
Okay.
and insurance is a whole other beast.
Yeah.
There's so many different ones.
There's a lot of different factors there. But okay, I guess the bottom line is, if you've been hearing about this, it's been going on for a couple of years. Yes, there are some shortages and short supply of medications. It's been going on since the pandemic. It keeps flaring up in different ways. That's certainly something you're hearing and is true. But don't panic is the bottom line, I guess. Don't panic. We'll get through this.
I love that. That's a really well summarized way to say it. And exactly, don't panic. Talk to your pharmacist. They have the scope of practice to do this. And, they shouldn't be faxing the doctors for requests. They are the medication doctors. They need to practice at their full scope. So any pharmacist who's listening, this is up to you. Make the decisions with your patient in mind.
My guest is Ferouz Siraj. He's a doctor of pharmacy and pharmacy manager at the Hillside PharmaSafe. Thank you so much for weighing in. We've been hearing about this anecdotally. Great to just sort of get a pharmacist's perspective on what's going on. This has been great. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, we got to take a break. The 8 o'clock news is next.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It's 8:01 on Tuesday, July 7th. Mostly sunny day, few cloudy periods. Warm, but windy off the Juan de Fuca Strait, where it'll feel a lot cooler. There's a lot to unpack in weather, and we'll do that in just a moment. First, though, to the news. Here it is, the 8 o'clock report with Lisa Best.
Thank you. Bring this to your attention once again, just in case you saw anything. VPD asking for tips in connection with an unprovoked assault on a woman last weekend. She was standing waiting for a bus in the 600 block of Johnson Street around 10:30 Sunday night when a stranger hit her in the head. The suspect headed south on Johnson on foot. He's described as in his 30s to 40s with a medium build. He was wearing a baseball cap, dark hoodie, jacket, and pants at the time. Investigators looking for any witnesses or anyone who may have dash cam footage in the 600 block of Johnson Street around 10:30 Sunday night. Things got out of hand in a Walmart parking lot in Langford Friday. West Shore CMP say 4 teens riding e-dirt bikes performing stunts in that parking lot. One of the youths apparently pulled out bear spray and a knife and threatened a victim, demanding they hand over their belongings or be sprayed. Police were able to locate the group, but they fled. One suspect dropped the e-dirt bike near Bear Mountain, fled on foot into the wooded area, so a K-9 unit was called in to track down that suspect. Police working to identify and locate the remaining teen suspects involved in this would-be robbery. Shawnigan Lake RCMP looking for a vehicle involved in a hit and run. It happened on June 24th, so we're going back about 2 weeks here. A woman hit by a vehicle in the 2700 block of Shawnigan Lake. She was walking northbound on the shoulder of the road around 4:30 that afternoon. She has non-life-threatening injuries. The sub purchase announced yesterday for Canada means big changes on the way for Greater Victoria. More workers, both in the infrastructure needed to operate the new subs and at a base, generally bringing the number of positions at CFB Esquimalt up by about 2,500 staff. Rear Admiral David Patchell, commander of the Maritime Forces Pacific and Joint Task Force Pacific, says they've already scoped the spot for the new jetty. It's in Colwood.
So there'll be a maintenance facility on both coasts. There'll be new jetties on both coasts. So literally you can see Colwood across the harbor here. We've already mapped out where that infrastructure is going to go. And we're also building infrastructure for new destroyers, for the new tankers, and all the training we need to build a much larger Navy. And so roughly investing $10 billion over the next decade right here in British Columbia.
A lot of cash coming in for us. Currently, 3 of 4 Canadian subs are based here at CFB Esquimalt. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the alliance will work with Swedish manufacturer Saab on early warning surveillance planes built in part by a Canadian company. Rutte told the audience at the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, the current fleet is nearing the end of its lifespan.
Today, several allies are announcing the joint procurement of up to 10 Saab Global Eye aircraft to replace them. This will ensure we keep NATO's owned and operated surveillance and early warning capability strong and credible for decades to come.
The Canadian contingent would be Bombardier jets involved. NATO showcasing a series of military projects worth billions in an attempt to convince the U.S. president that U.S. allies are converting fresh defense spending into real firepower. If Dolly Parton wasn't busy enough, she's now preparing to put her life on Broadway.
Dolly Parton is making a musical about her life. Dolly, a true original musical, will open December 7th on Broadway with an opening night celebration on January 19th. That also happens to be Parton's 81st birthday. The show will feature the singer's most beloved hits and some new songs that Parton is writing just for the musical. In New York, I'm Daria Albinger.
And for even more music, this guy's going on tour. Garth Brooks returning to his roots, hitting the road this summer. The country icon announced the Blame It On My Roots, the arena tour kickoff, will happen in August. The first dates to be announced, August 21st and 22nd in Indianapolis, but there's more dates to come. Tickets go on sale July 17th. And Garth says every seat will be priced at $154 US. That's your news to 8:05. Your CFAX 1070 news poll question: have you lost interest in the World Cup or switched teams after Canada's loss last weekend? 55% have lost interest. 45% are cheering for another team. You can vote now at cfax1070.com or in the iHeartRadio app. And Lisa Best, your news time is 8:07.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. It's going to be a mostly sunny day, but we'll have some cloudy patches in Victoria. A mostly warm day, but we're going to have some wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, making it feel cooler if you're by the coastline. Full forecast to come. That's the kind of day we're getting into today. Over to the CFAX 1070 Sports, and let's kick things off with the World Cup report.
This is your TSN Radio FIFA World Cup 2026 update.
I'm John Rodenberg. All three World Cup co-hosts are out as the United States join Mexico and Canada eliminated in the round of 16. Belgium blew out the U.S. 4-1 on Monday, scoring just 9 minutes into the game. And after the U.S. tied it, Belgium scored just a minute later to grab the lead again.
Trossard. Oh, that could be a tempting ball in. It's De Ketelaere.
Charles de Ketelaere had both the goals, and Belgium added 2 more in the second half for the easy victory. Earlier, Spain advanced when substitute Mikel Merino scored in the 90th minute for a 1-0 win over Portugal. The loss marked the end of Cristiano Ronaldo's international career after a record-tying 6 World Cups. Spain will play Belgium on Friday for a spot in the semi-final. Today, 2 final round of 16 matches. Argentina will take on Egypt, and then at 4 p.m. Eastern, the final game to be played at Vancouver Stadium as Colombia meets Switzerland. You can watch the FIFA World Cup matches on TSN, CTV, Crave, and streaming at tsn.ca. Listen on the TSN Radio Network with all games streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
There you go. That's the World Cup. And now just quickly to some local sports. Victoria Harper Cats hosting the Bend Elks tonight. Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. That kicks off the 3-game series against those 2 teams. And for the Shamrocks Lacrosse, the Junior A team is in action. They're hosting Nanaimo Timbermen tonight at the Q Center. Game time is 7 p.m. That is CFAX 1070 Sports to 8:09. To the CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, where there's really not much going on. The traffic is flowing freely from the West Shore into downtown Victoria and the core area. You do have the regular construction-related slowdown where you got to obey the construction speed limit down the Trans-Canada Highway for the bus widening part. But otherwise, yeah, things are looking great. Speaking of construction zones, update on the Keating flyover, where they're doing some paving work at sort of the other end, not the beginning off the Pat Bay Highway, but where you kind of come off onto Keating Crossroads. Last night there was an overnight closure to do some of the, grinding up all the old pavement, and now they're going to be putting some pavement down at the intersection of Keating and the Central Saanich Road. The paving work is tonight, so another full closure tonight, and then a possible other closure afterwards, which might be a little less disruptive, as we heard. This is getting to near the end of this project. We heard from the Ministry of Transportation, who spoke to us last hour on the show. By the end of the month, they're hoping this thing is fully done and the construction zone lifted for that part of the Pat Bay Highway through the Keating flyover. But still a thing right now, and another overnight closure coming up tonight. BC Ferries, no sailing waits. The weather, let's talk about that, because we've got a mostly sunny day today, except for some cloudy patches. A mostly warm day, except for some windy patches. We got gusts off the Juan de Fuca Strait. So if you're by the windy coastline, 16 degrees could be your high. Otherwise, it's 24, with humidity making it feel more like 26 today. Then tonight, still windy, lows down to about 11 degrees. And then the next few days are actually looking very similar. What we got today, it was kind of like what we had yesterday, and it's going to be kind of what we have tomorrow. Just sort of a very stable set of weather for the next few days here. We're just into it. To the business news on the markets. S&P TSX down 97 points to 35,114 right now. The Dow in New York is down 121 to 52,933. Canadian dollar is now up just a fraction of a cent to 70.5 cents US.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
All right, two major stories that we're following here that we're going to talk about on the program. There's, of course, Canada's submarine purchase and what it means for the Greater Victoria area, choosing that German bid. That was the announcement yesterday. At the end of the hour, we're going to talk to a university professor who's following this closely for his perspective on what this means. But right now, let's get into the aftermath of a story that people have been talking about for days now because it's shocking. It was the machete attack off of Dallas Road that took place Friday night. And we've been learning a bit more about this. Police yesterday saying 2 people have been arrested after that violent confrontation. And we're going to set this up right now with CTV Vancouver Island. They did a story on this yesterday, and they spoke to a witness actually about this. So let's just take a listen into that.
Victoria Police were called to Dallas Road late Friday night, where it says 3 people sustained non-life-threatening injuries, 2 of which were taken to hospital. A witness, who asked to stay anonymous, says her group was listening to music and watching the sunset when a group of 10 to 15 men began to linger nearby. A few moments later, they were approached by several of the males, and that's when she noticed a knife, and the attack began.
But when the weapon was pulled, only 2 of their group had stayed and actually began to start the attack, and the other members of the group seemed to have not wanted anything to do with that and had left. Seemed like a lot of anger out of nowhere. It almost felt like they were wanting, like they had the machete because they wanted to do something, whether it was to my group or anyone who they could have. It just felt like a lot of anger from really nowhere.
Today, police say 20-year-old Hussein Saad-Eddin is facing several criminal charges, including aggravated assault and 2 counts of assault with a weapon. A second person, a youth who cannot be identified, is facing charges of aggravated assault, 2 counts of assault with a weapon, and carrying a concealed weapon.
That's CTV Vancouver Island's Kate Hutchinson and that witness they spoke to at CTV, just sort of giving their recounting of what happened. So that's what we know so far.
Which is terribly disconcerting to think someone's going to just walk up to you and attack you. But we also have from Vic PD an attack Sunday night at a bus stop in Johnson where a woman was hit on the head by a stranger who then just walked away. So unprovoked attacks, extremely, an attack of any sort is disconcerting. But this, coupled with what happened Friday night, and I know there's always big parties that go on down there, but most of them are pretty chill. This went sideways on Dallas.
Yeah, and the other thing about the Dallas Road thing, with something quite so shocking and with not a lot of information immediately out, there has also been a lot of what police are calling misinformation spreading around online about this. You can read all of you can go on different discussion threads. People are obviously wanting to talk about this because it's such a horrific, alarming thing. But what misinformation is out there? What do we need to correct about this? We're going to be talking to the Victoria Police Department coming up next about that machete attack along Dallas Road near Beacon Park back on Friday night. That's coming up. Right now, though, to the news. Here is Lisa Best.
The province is extending the time period for Vancouver businesses to be able to keep patios open beyond the FIFA World Cup tournament. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food says with those temporary summer patios for the soccer tournament, if you've got one, you can now apply to keep it open through the summer. Those approved the extension will be able to continue operating the patio until September 6th. The move comes just days after the City of Vancouver announced it's going to be keeping the Granville Street pedestrian zone open through the summer months after the area initially opened for the festivities linked to the World Cup. All good ideas. The final game in Vancouver, the final match happens today with Switzerland and Colombia on the pitch. That will be that for Vancouver. A new survey by KPMG Canada shows 42% of Canadian manufacturing companies are considering moving production to the U.S. 77% of those thinking about relocating expect to make that transition within the next 2 years. KPMG Canada partner Amika Gadia says the issue goes beyond the current trade situation and the tariff war, with Canada needing to create competitive environments to allow manufacturers to grow. The survey comes as the U.S. said last week it is not going to renew the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement, or CUSMA, on trade in its current form. And the BC Hydro is offering customers a chance to win free smart thermostats. It's part of the Power Smart 2.0 energy conservation. Registration is underway. The thermostats are from 2 Canadian companies. They'll start arriving in the fall. These devices will come pre-enrolled in the BC Hydro's Peak Saver program. And that is your CFAX News to 8:17.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll talk to Victoria Police in just a moment about the aftermath of that machete attack, arrests made. What do we need to know, and what is out there that is misinformation that is spreading about this conversation that is taking a life of its own online. So that's coming up in just a few moments. We'll do traffic and weather, too. If you see a problem out there, text us at 71010. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It's 8:20, and the morning show is brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps, where for a comfortable home no matter the season and big savings on your heating bill, talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort, the South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. We are looking at a fairly typical commute. I've got no major issues on the roads. The West Shore commute looks about normal. Pat Bay Highway is totally clear after that collision that was happening yesterday evening. No remnants of that between Royal Oak and Quadra. Pat Bay is fine. The overnight closure is no longer closed for the Keating flyover either, although it will be closed again tonight as they continue some paving work at the sort of end of the flyover. And for the weather forecast, mainly sunny today, but cloudy periods will be here. We'll see the wind blowing off the Juan de Fuca Strait quite strong. Those 70-kilometer-an-hour gusts westerly will be hitting again. So even though the high temperature is about 24, even feeling a little warmer with the humidex of 26, if you're by the windy Juan de Fuca Strait, expect temperatures more like 16 degrees. And then repeat that for the next few days. It's just kind of a very stable forecast here. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, lows down to 13, still windy. Right now, temperatures around Victoria, we are sitting at about... the official temperatures at the Victoria International Airport, 17 degrees, but it's a bit cooler, I guess, as predicted by the Juan de Fuca Strait, where it's only 13 in Oak Bay.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, Victoria police say 2 people arrested now after that violent confrontation involving a machete in Beacon Hill Park, kind of off Dallas Road there, Friday night, left 3 people injured. What do we know, and what else can we we get out there about this story that has a lot of people kind of concerned. Inspector Jeff Lawson with the Victoria Police Department joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing all right, but this is, one of those things that's understandably shocking, and understandably a lot of people are talking about this kind of attack. What can you tell us about where the story sits right now?
Yeah, sure. I can tell you that this incident that's been reported on before occurred on Friday night at around 10 o'clock on Dallas Road. Our officers were called to an assault in progress down there, and when they arrived on scene, they encountered a large group of people, or 3 people had been injured via an assault with a weapon. Our officers on scene were able to provide first aid to the injured people. 2 of those injured parties were transported to hospital, and we were able to locate 2 suspects and arrest them on Dallas Road. Our major crime unit and our forensic investigators were called out, and they investigated this throughout the weekend and resulted in recommending charges against 2 people, 1 adult and 1 youth. Those charges have been approved. They include aggravated assault and assault with a weapon, amongst a couple of other charges there. And those 2 suspects are in custody right now.
So they're remaining in custody, which is a big, important part. Charges have been laid. So that was the big update yesterday on this case. And where does it go from here?
So our investigators are continuing to investigate it. Just because we made a couple arrests doesn't mean the investigation is over. There was a lot of witnesses, multiple victims. They still have a lot of work to do getting a hold of these witnesses, talking to them, getting their accounts, and getting that investigation all buttoned up. There's also, as you're aware, there's considerable speculation online regarding what's occurred. And with, like many of our investigations, the information circulating on social media, I just want to warn people, it may be incomplete or inaccurate, or based on unverified accounts. And our investigators, we have to carefully review all of the available evidence, and that includes social media, and kind of sorting through that and seeing what is accurate, what's verified, and to establish the facts.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting part of the story, because I certainly have seen a lot written about this by various people on message boards or social media platforms. Something like this is quite shocking, and you can see why people would be going online to talk about what they know and share or try to find out more about it. And I guess one of the awkward things here is because it's an active investigation, you can't necessarily get into some of those details, but what can you say about the information that's wrong out there? And I don't know, I guess just, what is it that you can share to help guide us through a lot of that?
Yeah, I think you hit it there. It is still an active investigation, so we can't, and it's going before the courts, so we can't say a lot. I just want to kind of reemphasize, though, to warn people, not everything that you see online is accurate. And our investigators, it's their job to sort through that, to look at the detailed firsthand witness accounts and figure out what is accurate and put the accurate case forward to Crown so they can prosecute the individuals.
Jeff, were the weapons seized as well?
I can't comment on that at this time. I'm sorry, Lisa.
Okay, fair enough.
And another thing that I think I'm going to phrase it this way: some of what I think is misinformation, but I'm not sure, and we can't really get into it, is to do with the injuries sustained by the people who were victimized here. But one thing I think I can ask is how are they doing? What can you tell us about the state of the victims? And I know non-life-threatening injuries was what was used to describe what happened to them, but what can you tell us about how they're doing right now?
Sure. What I can tell you is that there were 3 victims when our officers arrived on scene, and they were able to provide first aid. 2 of the victims were transported to hospital, and both have since been released.
Okay, so everybody's out of hospital now, which I guess is a good sign. But I mean, still going to be a traumatic event to go through, which will have lasting impacts psychologically, I'd imagine.
Yeah, for sure it will, and that's one of the things that our officers consider, and the courts will consider as well.
Can you share a gender of victims?
No, at this stage, I cannot share that.
Okay.
Well, there you go. That is what we know so far. And, just a warning about some of the misinformation that might not be correct about this machete attack story that has been talked about greatly here in the Greater Victoria area since it happened on Friday night. And I guess we'll leave this story here. If you know anything, you're still trying to talk to witnesses. Like you said, the investigation isn't over. So what are you looking for from the public here?
This investigation is not over, and we rely on community cooperation. So if there's anybody out there, there was a lot of people down there at that time, and our officers have to talk to everybody. So if we haven't reached out to you and you did witness this, please reach out to us. We do want to hear from you.
Can you just refresh us once more exactly where this occurred? So in case someone was in the area?
It's the gazebo on Dallas Road, right at the corner of Dallas Road and Camas Circle.
Okay.
That's where it happened. And one other thing, while you're putting out this call for witnesses, there is another case that you're investigating. You're also looking to talk to witnesses on. This was this unprovoked assault on a woman that took place last weekend. We're hearing about it was a woman waiting for a bus in the 600 block of Johnson Street when a stranger hit her over the head, and the suspect described as a man in his 30s and 40s with a medium build. He was wearing a baseball cap, a dark hoodie, jacket, and pants. So that's what we know so far. That's another one you're trying to get some witnesses on or to come forward about, right?
Yeah, that happened, Ryan, on July 5th at about 10:30 at night, and it happened at the corner of Johnson Street and Broad Street. And you described the witness, or described the suspect there, but I'll just describe it again because we are looking for anybody that may have been in the area and seen something out of place to give us a call and notify us. Again, it was a 30 to 40-year-old male, medium build, wearing a baseball hat, a dark hooded jacket, and pants.
All right. Well, there you go. A couple of cases Victoria Police are working on, and they are asking for witnesses. In the meantime, thank you so much for talking to us about what we know about these stories. That is Inspector Jeff Lawson with the Victoria Police. Much appreciated.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right, there we go. We will take a break, but much more big news to cover in the Greater Victoria area because, of course, this submarine purchase story, Canada's choosing the German bid. That was announced. It has huge implications locally at CFB Esquimalt. We're going to be unpacking this more coming up later with our next guest before the end of the hour, so stay tuned.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria,
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. It's 8:30 on this Tuesday, July 7th. We are looking at a mix of sun and cloud today. Sunny sometimes, cloudy other times, and windy off the Juan de Fuca Strait, but also warm if you're away from the water. Lots to get into today in the weather. We'll do that in just a moment. Right now, though, the news begins. Here is Lisa Best.
It's warm, it's drying out, and go figure, we have a new wildfire on Vancouver Island. This one is actually hitting the radar because it is considered burning out of control at this point. and it is believed to be human-caused. It's about 2 hectares in size. It's situated northwest of Mount Prevost, north of Duncan. BC Wildfire Service says 3 initial attack crews, 2 water tenders, 2 choppers in the air, and additional tanker support are battling this one. Province-wide, we have 20 fires burning, 5 new starts in the past 24 hours, and 5 of those are considered out of control, including the one mid-island. Survey results from KPMG Canada has found that 42% of Canadian manufacturers say they have or are considering moving production to the U.S. Amika Gadia, the national leader of industrial markets at KPMG Canada, says the issue goes way beyond the current trade situation.
Some of the key factors that that companies have cited are more certainty around interprovincial trade barriers. They need more tariff certainty. They want to see lower corporate taxes. They want better access to capital and cheaper energy.
Survey also found that 57% of manufacturing firms have paused, reduced, or canceled capital investment projects. Here on the West Coast, big announcement at CFB yesterday, CFB Esquimalt, that the new jetty and submarine maintenance facility will be built. The new jetty situated in Colwood. Of course, this with the announcement of 12 new submarines coming to Canada. The Navy expected to spend about $10 billion in this region over the next decade. Staffing to operate all this will be an extra 1,000 positions required. The local base expected to go up to about 2,500 staff in total. Esquimalt Mayor Barb Desjardins says this entire region is going to benefit from the move.
This is fantastic news, always. The township and CFB Esquimalt, we have a very good relationship, close relationship, and we realize the benefit both to both of our communities, but also to the region on this kind of spending for military improvements.
Currently, there are 3 of the Navy's 4 current subs based here at CFB Esquimalt. We're going to hear from University of Victoria Professor of Military History David Zimmerman. He'll be live at 8:50, a few minutes from now, to talk more about the federal submarine purchase and local military upgrades to come with it. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte says the alliance will work with Swedish manufacturer Saab on up to 10 early warning surveillance planes built in part by a Canadian company. The Global Eye system combines Saab technology with Bombardier's Global 6500 business jet. Rutte told the audience at the NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey today that the system is already well tested.
It is a proven system with a demonstrated ability to detect, track and identify complex threats, including drone swarms, ballistic missiles and cruise missiles.
Prime Minister Mark Carney announcing in May that Ottawa was looking to buy 6 surveillance aircraft from Saab. Stateside agricultural officials now confirm 32 cases of the New World screwworm infesting livestock in dozens of Texas counties, that is. ABC's Jim Ryan tells us about the latest effort to halt the spread of this parasitic pest.
Since the 1960s, attempts to eradicate the New World screwworm have involved releasing billions of male flies that have been sterilized with radiation to mate with females, thereby halting the reproductive cycle. But radiation weakens the flies, making them less able to compete with their non-sterilized competitors. Now, scientists are working on a gene editing technique to breed screwworm flies that are sterile from birth and just as vigorous as non-sterile males. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And Tilly Norwood, that artificial intelligence-created actor, is set to make her film debut in a comedy meant to show the state of AI movie magic.
Norwood was first announced by the production company Particle 6 last year. The actors union, SAG-AFTRA, said they do not consider her to be an actress. But Particle 6 pressed forward, releasing short comedy sketches and a music video.
I am still human, make no mistake.
Now the studio that made her is producing a film starring Tilly, titled Misaligned, a coming-of-age story about Tilly trying to become more human.
And that is your news to 8:35. CFAX 1070 news poll question this morning. We're asking you about the World Cup. With Canada's loss over the weekend, have you given up interest or have you just switched to another team? 53% switching to another team, 47%. I actually switched that. 53% giving up interest, not paying attention. 47% jumping on another bandwagon, as Ryan has.
Yep.
Who are we cheering for, Ryan?
Well, I got dual citizenship. I'm Canadian and I'm British, so I'm going with my other citizenship. I'm going England.
I'm going with Belgium.
You're going Belgium?
I like good chocolate, and that's it.
Huh.
So, and the players work too.
And speaking,
Yep.
Texter has a joke about this, by the way. So Belgium, they of course just defeated the Americans last night.
I was okay with that too.
4-1.
Yep.
And this is on the eve of the NATO summit where all of these world leaders are getting together. So
Yes.
Texter says, inquiring minds want to know, are Belgian chocolates still on the dessert menu at the NATO summit? Or do we have to remove these to not offend Donald Trump?
Yeah. You know?
Good one, Texter at
That is
71010.
actually a really interesting question because I could see that possibly being a problem. Maybe he'll just skip dessert
Yeah.
or throw a red card up. That could happen.
Everybody should carry red cards. I
Right?
should carry red cards.
We should all have red cards.
Just in life.
I don't like
No,
that.
Stop
doing what you're doing.
Butt in front of me in line at Costco, red card.
Well, have you seen the memes?
Which ones?
Yeah, the red card. There's a lot of red card memes out there
I'm going to look that up.
with a person's face on them
Oh, I see.
saying I'm
Okay.
playing the red card because he told me I could.
Right.
Yeah. So there's that. So, red card your day through Tuesday. We're okay with that.
And you can vote at the news poll, cfax1070.com. That's what we're doing, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Doing that too. Oh, did I mention that part?
I don't know. I
It's
think
just a given, right?
I just went and interrupted you immediately. And there was,
That's all right.
yeah.
then. I
Anyways.
wanted to mention the 50-50.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk
now
about that.
We're now at $2,650. This is for CFAX Santa's Anonymous. So $2,650, however you want to split that. We will be splitting it 50-50. Half goes to families in need, half goes to you. You can find the details with us at cfax1070.com. Now we go to sports.
It's the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Correct.
And at CFAX 1070 Sports, I want to talk about the soccer because we were just talking about the World Cup. Americans, they're out 4-1 to Belgium. We just said that. So that's all settled. Now let's talk about today because today is the final day for BC Place Stadium. It's the final Canadian game as Canada is one of the host countries. We will see Switzerland take on Colombia at BC Place Stadium, and that's it for the Canadian hosted matches. Argentina and Lionel Messi, they're also in action today playing Egypt. That's in the other match. Today's winners will go on to Saturday's quarterfinal showdown in Kansas City. And for the world of baseball, Toronto Blue Jays have lost 3 in a row, been outscored 25-1, out-hit 25-7 over the past few games. They'll look to right the ship tonight when they play the middle set of 3 games against host San Francisco Giants. Locally, the Victoria Harbor Cats are hosting the Bend Elks tonight, Royal Athletic Park, Wilson's Group Stadium. That kicks off a 3-game series. And at the Q Center in Colwood, it is the Junior A Shamrocks hosting the Nanaimo Timbermen this evening, 7 p.m., the game time for that one. There's some off-ice news for the Vancouver Canucks. Jamie Oleksiak is signing with the Canucks. He says it was too good of an opportunity to pass up. The veteran defenseman signed a 2-year, $10 million deal to play in Vancouver and says he brings a veteran presence.
Coming in now, I'm a little bit more of a veteran player, I guess, and I've been around the league for a while, and I can kind of bring my experiences to the team and just show up every day with a good work ethic and try and help set the standard and work with some of these young players and the veteran guys they also brought in as well.
Oleksiak spent the last 5 seasons with the Seattle Kraken, put up 15 points and 5 goals last season. And in off-court basketball news, Kyle Lowry is calling it quits after 20 NBA seasons. But he's signing a 1-day contract so he can retire as a member of the Toronto Raptors. Lowry spent 9 seasons in Toronto, helping the Raptors win their first NBA championship back in 2019. He earned all 6 of his All-Star selections with the club. So, yeah, he's retiring. He's done. But signing this 1-day contract just so he could say he retired as a Raptor. And that's your CFAX Sports to 841. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather, 842, fairly problem-free on the commute, although if I'm wrong, let me know at 7:10:10. But yeah, the West Shore commute has been lighter than normal, as it has been as this beginning of summer. I think it's still kind of a very summer vacation-filled time of the year, and people are not commuting quite as much as usual. That's playing out again today. If you see anything, though, like I said, text me at 7:10:10 for the BC Ferries. No sailing waits right now. 9 o'clock sailing has lots of room left from Swartz Bay to Tsawwassen. And in the weather forecast, I'm sure I'm making this more complicated than it is. But it's nice outside. It's sunny. It's a little bit cloudy at times, and highs of 24. There's a humidex of 26, making it feel a bit warmer. But I'm just saying, there's also this wind gusting off the Juan de Fuca Strait. So for that part of the capital region, if you get out that direction, it's going to be a different kind of day with a cooler 16-degree high temperature. Partly cloudy tonight, lows down to 13, and then the same story just plays out for the next few days. We're just kind of in this weather that we've been in since yesterday, and it's kind of here again today. We'll be for the next few days. Just a very stable forecast, and right now 17 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX down 90 points to 35,121. The Dow is down 241 to 52,814. NASDAQ has also dropped 374 to 25,746. Canadian dollar is up a little bit to 70.5 cents U.S.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Well, at CFB Esquimalt yesterday, they were talking about a lot of jobs coming to the region, about a brand new jetty to be built, a maintenance facility on the Colwood side of CFB Esquimalt. This was all the aftermath of Canada announcing that Germany will get the bid to build our new submarines. So that's got, big national military implications, but of course, a lot of local kind of business implications when it comes to the economy and the jobs created by all of this. I want to get into all of it in just a few moments as we continue to unpack what is a big story, like I said, locally, but beyond that, somebody we've been talking to all along the way here, David Zimmerman, is a professor of military history at the University of Victoria. He's been kind of weighing in on the bids, the South Korean and the German bid that Canada was deciding between over the course of the last few months. So we've reached out to him again just to kind of get a sense of, now that we're here, we got a decision. What does he think about it, and how significant is this? We're going to get into that topic next. But first, it's time for the news at 8:45, and here is Lisa Best.
Thank you, Ryan, and good morning. We begin with the wildfire here on Vancouver Island, considered burning out of control at this point. It's believed to be human-caused. It's about 2 hectares in size, situated northwest of Mount Prevost, north of Duncan. The BC Wildfire Service says 3 initial attack crews, 2 water tenders, 2 helicopters, and additional tanker support are battling this one. Province-wide, we have about 20 fires burning, 5 new fires sparking in the last 24 hours, 5 of those considered out of control, including the one here on Vancouver Island. Next door in Alberta, country musician Corb Lund says he has questions about the process Elections Alberta used to reject his anti-coal mining petition and is looking to take the matter to court. The failed petition is the latest setback for Lund in 6 years of fighting coal mining on the eastern slope of the Rocky Mountains. Lund and his group, called Water Not Coal, may apply for a judicial review in the coming days. Elections Alberta says its verification process was rigorous and has cited unconfirmed voter information as the reason for rejecting all of these signatures. Garth Brooks is returning to his roots, hitting the road this summer. The country icon announcing his Blame It On My Roots, the arena tour, will kick off in August. The first dates to be announced are August 21st, 22nd in Indianapolis, with more dates to come later. Tickets go on sale July 17th, and Garth says every seat will be priced at $154 US, which seems like a steal nowadays, some of them going for $800 at concerts. And Dolly Parton, not busy enough at turning 81. She's preparing to put her life on Broadway in a new musical. More to come on that during the show. That's your news to 8:46.
Texter 71010 asking, what's happening with the Langdale ferry, please? Well, this is kind of outside of what I usually talk about in traffic, but yeah, this is the one between Horseshoe Bay on the mainland and Langdale Terminal is the one on the Sunshine Coast side near Gibson's. They had some mechanical issues with the terminal, and they've had reduced vehicle capacity and just sort of reduced capacity there. That was announced yesterday. They had to cancel a few ferries and a few reservations. So that's what's happening at the Langdale Terminal. If that helps you out, texter, there you go. And some other texters weighing in on soccer. Lisa, this is kind of fun. We were mentioning the Belgians beating the Americans 4-1.
Correct.
And one of the things that happened, of course, before that was the U.S. president, Donald Trump, calling the FIFA president and maybe intervening in that red card that the American player Balogun had received.
Right. Calling foul, basically. That shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and enraging people. And this texter at 71010 says, "Good morning, Ryan and Lisa. In the sports world, one should never let a politician give a good opponent a reason to hate your team. Belgium schooled the United States last night." That's from Chris. And then this texter says...
She may not be wrong about that. Someone stepping in politically.
Yeah, you got to fired things up.
It's still between the athletes in the end.
And then this texter says, the night before the England-Mexico game, the Mexican fans tried to keep England's players awake so they would lose sleep by setting off fireworks and making noises outside their hotel.
I heard
about this.
All over social media.
And then England won. And the texter says, poetic justice. So there's two cases of maybe this backfiring. Maybe just calm down.
Maybe just let them play the game. The beautiful game.
Thank you for weighing in, as always, at 71010. Join the conversation anytime, including about submarines. That's the topic next.
This summer, 3 of Vancouver Island's biggest voices are coming together to make a real difference.
Get your tickets now for the Kids Count Mega Summer 50-50.
Brought to you by 107.3 Virgin Radio, CFAX 1070, and CTV.
In support of CFAX Santa's Anonymous all-new Kids Count program, supporting children beyond Christmas.
The Mega Summer 50-50.
Your chance to win big while giving back.
Buy your tickets today at CFAX1070.com.
Gaming event license 174660.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather still fairly calm out there. No major issues on the roads, but watch out for overnight closure on the Keating flyover. The end of it where it meets kind of Keating Crossroad and Central Saanich Road. They're doing paving then again there again tonight, but it's all smooth right now. For the weather forecast, mix of sun and cloud today. Cloudier at times. Wind off the Juan de Fuca Strait, making it feel cooler by the water. Otherwise, it's a 24-degree high expected. Right now, we're sitting at 17.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Canada has chosen Germany's ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems as the preferred supplier to build the Royal Canadian Navy's next generation of submarines. And we continue to unpack that announcement from yesterday. And somebody we've been talking to all along this, all along the way of this story is David Zimmerman, professor of military history at the University of Victoria. So we've got him here to give us his reaction to the news. David, how you doing?
Hi. I'm well, thank you.
Great to get you here. So I guess, like I said, we've been talking to you about this. We've been speculating Germany, South Korea, what were the pros and cons of each bid. Now that you've heard the choice, what's your take on this?
Well, I think the take is, first of all, the decision wasn't a military one because, frankly, both submarines filled all of Canada's military needs. They each had somewhat different advantages. So very clearly, the government has made a decision based both on economics and politics. And so they say the German-Norwegian offer was a bit better than the Korean offer for benefits to Canada. But also Canada is trying very hard to build up connections to Europe to counter what's happening south of the border. And I guess they decided that was more important than building up our connections to South Korea.
But a tough one because Canada also wants to make inroads with that sort of Asia-Pacific region for the same reasons, to try to diversify.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a very tough choice. And I'm actually glad they made it because the Carney government has been showing a reluctance to make really difficult military acquisition decisions, particularly in regards to the F-35. So the fact that they made this decision shows that they are moving forward. And I can't fault their decision-making. As I say, both vessels had advantages. The German-Norwegian submarine had far better under-ice capabilities, so better operational abilities in the Arctic. Over the Korean one had a better weapon system array, but that may be ultimately of secondary consideration. But as I say, the decision was economic and political.
And made on the eve of this NATO summit, which also might fit into the politics of it. Certainly the timing of the announcement fit into it, just on his way to the summit. Here's you got Canada, the NATO member, displaying our commitment to not just our own defense and our defense spending, but, buying these subs from another NATO member.
Absolutely. And the fact of the matter is that I think they would have had the announcement later on in the week if it had been the Korean, because they wouldn't have wanted to sat there with the Germans and the Norwegians staring at them with anger. But now everyone's happy. And so he could go there and celebrate with them what is going to be, I think, a great long-term partnership, which is going to have a lot of benefits both to the Canadian Navy and to the Canadian economy.
So it sounds like your personal opinion is this was a good choice.
I don't think there was a bad choice.
Okay.
I think both submarines would have done very, very well. They were slightly different, and clearly the government has made a decision, but they delayed the decision to give these two consortiums a chance to improve their commitment to the domestic economy in Canada. And I think ultimately the German-Norwegian bid came out somewhat ahead.
Let's unpack a few of the details we learned beyond all of that. So 12 submarines. There's a timeline here to get 4 of them pretty quickly. In the grand scheme of Canadian procurement, this is actually quite fast. 4 subs would arrive, before 2034?
Well, the big advantage here is unlike, say, the destroyers, which are currently being built, they don't have to create a shipyard. They don't have to start from scratch. That's always been historically one of the major problems with Canadian shipbuilding. We go from boom to bust. Now, with the German-Norwegian bid, this German company that's building them, they're one of the world's largest manufacturers of submarines. And even though this is a new model, it's a development from previous submarines. And so they have a lot of experience at this. And getting these 4 submarines, that was part of the way they sweetened the pot, as did the Koreans, to get the Canadians to choose them by, in fact, slotting the Canadians in much sooner than they otherwise would have been slotted in to get their first submarines.
So that's why the 4 of them will kind of come separately. But I got a question here from a listener that I think ties into this. Texter says, hello again. What does Mr. Zimmerman think the odds are that all 12 subs will be ordered? Many times initial procurements are later reduced, and 12 subs seems ambitious considering we currently only have 4. What do you think of the odds of us getting all 12 at the end?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't predict the future. I'm a historian. I can say this, that this is a huge expense, and but the government seems committed. But, we're talking about maybe even a decade down the line before the final commitments are made for the full 12. And who knows who'll be prime minister and who'll form government 12 years from now. And who knows what the economic situation will be. And who knows what our economic relationship with the United States will be, which is in part driving this. So it's a very, very hard thing. No one can give you an answer other than the Canadian government has said they will buy a maximum of 12. They haven't said they will definitely get all 12. They're not signing a contract to build all 12 and not making fiscal commitments, I think, other than for the first 4.
David Zimmerman, professor of military history at the University of Victoria. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll talk again because there's lots still to unpack on this story. But I appreciate your time this morning. We're out of time. Have a great day.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye.
And that's it for the show. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to Morgana Adby for producing it. And Lisa's got the news at 9 next.